All right. It is Wednesday. You know what time it is. It's that time of week. It's time for Sports 101. All things sports all the time. How you doing? I'm JP. We're in your house. We're in your face. And we're giving you raw truth, raw sports all the time. Joining me at this time is my tag team partners, the 8-man tag team champions of the world. First of all, the man behind the board, taking care of all the man with the best stash in the business today, TNT behind sunglasses, one and only, not Julian. Don't call him Julian Edelman because Julian ain't got swag like this cat has. Don, the one and only Don Edelman. Don, what's going on, dude?
That was a good one. That might have been better than the first one.
Well, no, just hey, it's Dawn. I mean, the first one sucked. Hey, it's Dawn. Next up, we got the man whose initials may be JV, but there's nothing junior varsity about him. The fighting pride of Murray, Kentucky, by way of Detroit, Michigan. We won't fault him for that latter part. The one and only Joe Violet. What's going on, Joe?
Not much. How you doing tonight, man?
It's Wednesday night, halfway to Friday, man.
Hump day.
It's always the best. And last but certainly not least, well, I should say least because this guy represents the other UT, University of Tennessee, who you know, let me tell you something. Last year is proof that sun shines on a dog's ass once in a while. The Volunteers actually did something. Best part of Tennessee, they call themselves volunteers.
Where are you
volunteers. Only people that call themselves volunteers because they volunteer to get the hell out of that state when they're done.
Oh, don't tell me what's up, Jamal.
What's up, Jamal?
Say all that or whatever. I'll introduce myself. This wannabe jabroni or whatever. Yeah, I'm in Pennsylvania, then I'm in Arizona talking about college football like he really knows what he's talking about or whatever. He just likes to just start stuff or whatever. But anyway, my name is Jamal.
Can I ask you a question? I know what I'm talking about. Can we measure the number of Super Bowl rings that have been won in the state by teams in the state of Pennsylvania versus the ones in Tennessee? Can we make that measurement?
College football. We're talking about
college football.
You have to switch up an argument.
By all means, we can talk about the national titles that Penn State have won versus the ones that Tennessee have won.
You have to switch up the argument to win. I mean, this ain't undisputed. They're like, this ain't Stephen A. or whatever. We can
talk about the number of natties Penn State won.
Let's play by my rules. I'm all time quarterback.
We're talking college football. Penn State won more natty titles than Tennessee college football.
I don't want to hear it. Like, welcome to the party. We missed you last week.
No, it's good to be here, and it's good to be with you, even though you're a friggin' Volunteer fan. Nice to meet you. Nice to chat it up with you.
Yeah, okay, Volunteer to go back at you. That's exactly what it is. Man.
We have got a really filled show this week. So
got off to a rocky start, didn't we? Yeah,
and I'm sure we're going to get back into this later. We have a college football segment later. I'm sure it's all going to pop off for that too.
Hey, I do like this guy, but you got to have some kind of controversy to get kicked off the show, right? You got to have a couple of the podcasts once in a while. That's boring. It's boring if you agree all the time. I like Jamal personally. He's a good dude.
So
no, I like it too. No, we cool.
Yeah. No, there's no
before anybody reads into this and says there's personal beef, we're just busting each other's balls. We got it.
No, we're good, baby. We're good.
Yeah, we have an absolutely filled show this week. We got topics. We got the NFL Week 1 coming up this week. We got WWE. We got a few deaths, unfortunately. We're gonna kick off with that first. So why don't Joe, why don't you tell us what unfortunate news, what happened in WWE this week?
Well, last week we lost one of the all-time legends and one of the modern legends, both in the same day. We lost both Terry Funk and Bray Wyatt.
Rip Legends. All right. What was your? Do you have any favorite moments about them or?
Well, anybody who's watched wrestling in the past 5-6 years or so knows who Bray Wyatt is. Very creative, genius mastermind. Portrayed a very, JP, would you say unique would be the best word for his character?
Yeah, especially by modern standards where everybody copies somebody. Bray definitely was one of a kind.
Yeah, he had a very unique act and died, unfortunately, very young. 38 years old, I believe, or was it 36?
36. Yeah.
At 36 years old. Meanwhile, Terry Funk was one of the all-time greats. He and his brother were the first brother duo to ever hold the World Heavyweight Championship.
How did they die? I don't know if I even saw that.
Okay, so Funk not to step on Joe here. Funk had been in an assisted living care facility for a while. His health at 79 had gone really. His wife Vicky, who was love of his life, had died a couple of years ago, and he had gone downhill for quite some time, and it really just tapered off when his wife died. And Funk had said many times to those that were around him that he'd be surprised if he made it to 70. So the fact that he made it to 79 was a shocker. It was a bit of dementia, I think, that wound up getting him. Just years of abuse and physical toll took its toll on him, and it cost him. Bray had if you remember that he had that match with LA Knight at the that Mountain Dew match, which I don't remember the name of the match.
Extreme Rules.
Thank you. And I should have been more researched about that. But he had that match with LA Knight, and he disappeared. And there were all these rumors about where he went. And he was going to do. Then he came back, was going to do that angle with Lashley, and heard all the rumors. He walked out, creative differences. Well, it turned out, and I promise I'm not turning this political, but he had a really nasty bout of COVID that aggravated a existing heart condition that he didn't realize he had. Well, they had put him on a defibrillator that he needed to wear. One day he, unfortunately, didn't wear the defibrillator, and he went to take a nap, and his wife-to-be heard the alarm going off for about an hour, and went after it was set, and went in to check on him, and he was blue. He was pretty much gone. Both are really heartbreaking. Both are heartbreaking because 79 years old. Terry lived. I could tell stories. I could do an entire radio show about Terry Funk stories, even from my own dealings with the man. Terry packed probably 170, 180 years into them 79. And I'm not trying to diminish his loss. I'm not, because it sucks. It hit on a personal level. Bray Wyatt was 36. And Joe, you can understand this as much as anyone. How much unfulfillment did we actually get with Bray Wyatt? And I'm not even just talking on a wrestling standpoint, because he truly was a genius in a business that sorely lacks him nowadays. Everybody is so carbon copy, and this guy stood out like a sore thumb. How much unfulfillment do we get? The 36-year-old that had so much left to give in life, never mind in the wrestling business. It's a kick in the pants, because I think this is the first one that's younger than us. Like my daughter said to me, my daughter said to me, this is like when you guys lost the Ultimate Warrior. I said, it's more like when we lost Andre the Giant, but it makes sense. Like, this is their generation's Andre, or Ultimate. Go ahead.
In the wrestling business, there's the term unused potential, untapped potential. It's often overused, but with Bray Wyatt, I think it's 100% on the money.
And that's saying something, because the guy, you can argue, was one of the better ones of our generation right now. I mean, if you look at that gap after post Cena, I don't want to hog the microphone here. If you look at those post Cena, man, Roman Reigns, I mean, I guess you could throw Brock in there, but Bray Wyatt has to be Seth Rollins. Bray Wyatt has to be in that top 5, right? At least on the men's side.
Jamal, what are your thoughts on of these two losses?
I remember, well, I'm 39 years old, so I grew up first getting introduced to Macho Man, Hulk Hogan, Ultimate Warrior, all those people. Then all of a sudden, I literally inserted into the Attitude Era, and then Terry Funk, I didn't even know about his brothers and brother tag teams and everything, but I just remember those hardcore matches with ECW and Mick Foley and all them. I was like, man, this Terry Funk dude, man, this dude's going at it. So him being 79 when he passed away, I was like, you know what? That's actually kind of a miracle. Almost, and God rest, his family, his brothers and everything. But to me, Bray Wyatt just feels like Eddie Guerrero again. But when Eddie passed, I was only 20, 21. But now I'm older than Bray, and that hits different, way different. And I mean, he, you'll go to a wrestling podcast and you'll hear Kevin Nash talk about LA Knights, a carbon copy of this person from the 90s or whatever. You would never hear that about Bray Wyatt. Bray was so one of a kind. It was just in a, especially in a PG era, the PC era, PG era, for him to just stand out like that And man, it's just and like I'm not like the hardcore fan. I don't really know like that, but I do know when I saw when those lights came out and he'd have his face on a lantern, or he'll do like the Pee Wee Playhouse, rest in peace, Paul Rubens, but like the Pee Wee Firefly Fun House or whatever like that. It's just, man, who thinks of that? The originality, like whatever they put in front of him, he did it, and I mean he did it well, and it man it just sucks for his family. You know, I think isn't his dad IRS?
Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm thinking about Bo Dallas and them whatever, but like I'm like under y'all when it comes to like wrestling fans, but I just know like what I saw and the fact that he's younger than us, it just really hits home in like a different way.
I think it shows you your mortality. I think it shows us all of our mortality. Look, this guy's 36 years old, and then really, you're not even talking the prime of his life yet. 36, life's just getting started,
Right.
And he's taken away from us. And I mean, like you said, creative genius. You're talking about a guy who went through 3 just completely different characters, right? Technically 4, because you guys remember the Husky Harris run, which, Husky Harris was about as bland and basic of a gimmick as you get. And when you first saw him, right, this guy's destined to Turdville, and then when we first saw Bray Wyatt, which if he ever carbon copied anybody, is when he debuted as Bray, the original Bray Wyatt, which was more or less an expanded version of Waylon Mercy, which we're going way back, but you'd really, really have to be a hardcore wrestling fan to remember Waylon Mercy, because it was Dan Spivey at the end of his career, and he basically was there for a hiccup. But he took that.
Fear.
What's that?
I was explaining to the audience, think Cape Fear when you think of Waylon Mercy.
And he took that to the whole new level. He took that, and then that character went away, and he came back. And people, when they first saw the Firefly Funhouse, they saw the puppets and the Mr. Rogers type character. And I remember, Joe, we were in that group chat, and everybody's bitching and moaning and rolling their eyes. And you and I both said, just wait, it's Bray Wyatt. There's more to this than meets the eye. And that wound up being one of the most incredible characters we've seen. And in this new character they had, we'll never know what it was meant to be. We'll never know what the story with Uncle Howdy was. And, was it good Bray and bad Bray? Was it Bray running from his past? We'll never know. But you knew there was genius behind it. That's just, if anybody deserved that benefit of the doubt, it was Bray. And I know today's not the time to talk about that. But again, how much more could this guy have done, man? I mean, with the... it's sad. It is sad. And I think the saddest part of it all is Wyatt family was a big part of the last 10 years, and now 2 of them are gone. Well, before they should have been. That's heartbreaking, too.
The one thing I would like to point out that I think is Bray's greatest achievement is the fact that he was in an era where it's storyline driven and creative geniuses pretty much direct the way that your characters go. Bray Wyatt, in my opinion, was one of the only ones of this era that was able to take his character and develop it organically.
Yeah, you're right.
Not necessarily based on what a writer had in store for him. He didn't have cue cards, anything like that to tell him, what to say, what bullet points to hit in a promo. The character evolved organically.
Somebody's good when you get pissed off about them losing a match. Joe, I've been in the biz. I don't get pissed about people losing matches. Okay, I know part of the show. There has been one match in the last 25 years that's pissed me off. One, and it involved Bray Wyatt. I'll just say that. And I don't want to talk about what should have been, but we all know what that match was. I don't need to go there.
Oh, gotcha.
Hey, Donald.
Yeah.
Hey, does it feel like we just got a master's class in wrestling? Because it seems like me and you were stuck in 101 or 201. They literally just gave a master's class.
I mean, the show is called Sports 101, so we're educating.
I mean, they literally gave us the master class, and we're just sitting there just like
we are getting educated on wrestling. And don't get me wrong, Jamaal. You know a lot more about wrestling than me. Like I know like John Cena and The Rock and Hulk Hogan and all the big ones. And I went to a Hell in the Cell match actually, and it was really fun. Now, granted, I don't know what the hell was going on, but it was kind of fun. People were jumping, big sweaty men were jumping off cages and shit. Tongues are out, long hair, hit each other with sticks, with what are they called, the Cali or gaffy sticks or whatever. I can't remember what they're called.
Kendo stick.
Oh, gaffy stick. That's a Star Wars thing, actually.
Hey, some promotions do use gaffy sticks, so you're not entirely wrong.
Oh, okay, cool. The gaffy stick's the thing that those Tuscans use in Star Wars.
Like literally, I could just see me and Donald just like sitting, just like listening to like listening to them. Just
I
like,
literally was sitting back here
like,
getting a drink, bro. Swear to God.
they're telling us to think this person when you think Bray Wyatt, and we're just in there like, well, who's that person?
Okay, well, let me give you a little history lesson here. Let me give you another history lesson here. Then in that circumstance, before AEW was the little engine it could, there was this promotion called ECW.
ECW.
One time when we sit down, I'll tell you guys a whole bunch of ECW stories. That place has a special place in my heart. It always will.
It does for me too, though. Yeah. Love it.
So Terry Funk going to ECW and giving his stamp of approval on that pay-per-view, I can't expect. I know we're talking a lot about Bray Wyatt here, and I don't want to take anything away from Funk, because him going to that little indie promotion in Pennsylvania and Philadelphia and giving the stamp of approval, it rose the stock of that company in ways I can't even begin to tell you guys. I mean, if Funk doesn't come in and do what he does for this company, it probably doesn't make it as long as it did. Now, granted, people listen to that, they only made it to 2001, and this was 96 he did this. That's still 5 years longer than they probably deserve to have.
Yeah.
And I'm talking from firsthand knowledge here. Believe me, this company was cult following. Okay, it had the small cult following, but that took it to the next level. It really did. And Terry Funk has done. So many debts of gratitude should be given to that man as well. And that's my soapbox about that.
Oh yeah, me and my dad Saturday nights would like stay up. My dad would be like, "Hey, stay up. Let's watch Sabu and Sandman and like all of them." And man, some great memories. And hearing Joey go, "Oh my God.
Oh my God." You want to hear a funny Terry story?
Sure.
For his barbed wire match with Sabu, right? There's a little trick in the business. If you want to bleed more, you either take Tylenol or you drink whiskey. So Terry's crazy ass downs 5 or 6 Tylenol and drinks a half a bottle of Jack Daniels and goes out there and has that match. So he comes back and he looks like he got murdered. It was just like only Terry Funk could have got away with that shit. Only Terry. But he drinks I'm not talking one of them little bottles either. I'm not talking one of those little dime store like you get at a damn grocery store. I'm talking like one of them big bottles of Jack. And he took that son of a bitch and downed it like we would drink a bottle, like we would drink a glass of water if we were thirsty. He just throws 6 in his mouth and gulp, and goes out there and has that barbed wire match. So it helped him bleed a lot, but he drank it like Terry was something. It was something else too, one of a kind.
Like Terry to me is kind of like he was. I'm not disrespecting him or anything like that.
No.
This is what I mean by this. Terry Funk was kind of like when I was growing up, like Mae Young. Like you didn't know what made them a legend. But like even at the age that they still were legendary, like doing whatever they did. So it was like okay, all right, this dude's way over Mick Foley, but he's handling his own. And then Mae Young's taking all these bumps or whatever, but I didn't know like the history like behind them because it was like pre-internet and like all that stuff or whatever. And it's almost like this comedian John Witherspoon. Like literally, I didn't know he was with Richard Pryor and everything before then, but I knew him as Pops, and he was on Friday, and then he was on the Boondocks, and it was like they never got old because they were always relevant. Like they were just like legends. Like it's just, I'm just glad we had Terry Funk. I'm just so glad.
Well, I am too, and I get where you're coming from, but we got a generation of kids that grew up around LeBron James that are watching the YouTube clips that we didn't have. I'll make this analysis. There's a generation of kids that don't realize how goddamn good Larry Bird was, how good Magic Johnson really was.
Larry Bird's a goat. He is a goat. He is a goat. That's why I got his jersey. Mm-hmm.
You're saying dope in a good way, right?
Yes, in a good way.
We just became best friends. We're good. So Larry, they don't realize how good.
No, like Joe, don't I have his jersey that I wear a lot?
You do.
Okay, so they don't realize, you got a generation of people don't realize how good Larry Bird was, how good Magic Johnson was, how big that rivalry was for the NBA, how good Isaiah Thomas and the Bad Boys were. They don't know, and that's what this generation that was watching Monday, that was on there Friday night, when Cody dropped the egg sucking rat, and it went to dead ears. People were pissed off, and I'm like, look, you got a generation of fans that weren't even born when he was Chainsaw Charlie, let alone, at his best.
Yeah.
So that's where people, like when you said about that, we were able to see like what Terry did in the and when he came back in ECW and did the hardcore shit up into the late 2000s. That would, honest to God, be akin to Michael Jordan coming out of retirement now and putting 50 on the Cavaliers or Warriors. I mean, it's just it was something. But those that haven't seen him, though, we don't know. They don't know, and it's crazy.
And just for the people out there in sports one-on-one land, if you never saw Larry Bird, I'll put it to you this way. If you want to put it to the Jays players, tell me if I'm wrong. Larry Bird is Luka Doncic and Nikola Jokic had a baby.
Amen. And I'll tell you right now, Luka Doncic and Larry Bird, Luka Doncic and Jokic, if they had a love child, even that would shit its pants if they had to play Larry Bird one-on-one. You know that. Larry was just so damn good. So damn good.
The hit from French Lick, baby.
He averaged more rebounds than Patrick Ewing in his career.
Yeah. And this was a 6'7", 6'6" white boy with a bad back from Indiana.
No. Larry Bird was like 6'9", 6'10".
Okay.
Larry was a big guy.
He was a big old boy. He's like LeBron size.
He's a big boy. I've had to defend Larry Bird in many arguments.
Well, these kids nowadays, though, they don't get it. That's
okay, listen, Jay. I was born in 1999, all right?
Mm-hmm.
But no, I'm not saying Larry Bird's not good. I am aware how good Larry Bird is. Okay, I think he's the second best small forward ever.
That's fair.
I will admit that Larry Bird, he is goated, best white boy ever, like legitimate white boy. Obviously, I think there's some Europeans that were probably better than him, but like American white boy, all right, Larry Bird, that's the boy right there. But no, I mean LeBron's obviously better than him, but like Larry Bird is definitely like number 2 easily. Especially for what he did for him and Magic, like the rivalry for the sport, because they kind of put like the NBA like on the map, and then Jordan took it to different levels. So
yeah, and
well, Don, see, that's the thing. You admit that he was, even if you put him behind LeBron, which is perfectly fine. That's not an invalid argument. You've got these dipshits online that would say Larry Bird would be lucky to come off the bench nowadays, and he'd be lucky to come off the bench for a college team nowadays. I've heard these stupid ass arguments. Bird couldn't make it today. He'd be a bum today. It's like those are the ones I have major issues with. Somebody that says Bird isn't the best of the second, third best of his era. I don't have a problem with that. No problem. Hey,
I can't wait for I can't wait for when the NBA season gets closer and we have more of these talks about who is best and stuff like that, because where me and you probably differ is I also think LeBron's better than Jordan too, just in terms of being a player. Maybe not in terms of his overall impact, but in terms of how good he is, I think LeBron's better. But
that is definitely a show for its own right, for sure.
That might be a little bit of my bias, just because that's who I've watched since I've been living.
And you had issues with me early on in the show.
Listen. But I'm not, and that's not me saying Jordan is ass or anything, because I still think he's the second best player ever. But I just think in terms of being how good he is, I think LeBron is better, just because I think he can do more.
Jamaal, my favorite quarterback since Marino retired was Peyton Manning. Just leave that at that. All the shit I gave you about Tennessee, we'll just take that nugget of information and run with it. Okay,
we're getting sidetracked now, though.
Everything is, I'm a huge Tom Brady fan.
What's that?
That's Michigan right there, though. That's Michigan.
I know, but I'm a huge Tom Brady fan. Like once Peyton Manning went to the Colts and he was playing against the Tennessee Titans and torturing the Titans all the time. Yeah,
once a Tennessee guy, always a Tennessee. That's like when Vince Young went to the Titans. Biggest, I will never forgive Jeff Fisher for that shit ever.
Forget Jeff Fisher. Yes, I'm with you. Jeff Fisher ruined his career. Dang it.
I will never forget Jeff Fisher. That's like the closest I ever came to becoming a Tennessee Titans fan was when they had Vince Young, and he folded up. But that's really that. You about Jordan and LeBron. We definitely got to have a debate about that, because that I could go on all day. We got so much stuff to talk about on here.
Yeah. So I say we're getting sidetracked over here for NBA, but we're not even talking about the NBA today. We're our next topic. Well, I mean, whenever the NBA comes around, we're gonna have a full show just about the NBA, I guess, because I could go for hours about that. just literally
stay
just
tuned
LeBron
for
and
that one,
Jordan.
ladies
So
and gentlemen.
Yes,
just
because
Jordan and LeBron, I
make
could
arguments
legitimately go for an
for
hour.
Jordan
So.
and for LeBron.
But yeah,
you can make arguments. Yeah, for
yeah.
them.
But week 1 NFL predictions, folks. That's what we got going. In this session, we got 6 minutes, or about 7 minutes probably, left. So we're gonna go through the first page I have here. We're gonna go through the first. We're gonna go through the Thursday night and all of the Saturday morning games, or I guess, or Sunday, all the Sunday like matinee games at noon, and we're just gonna give predictions. You don't have to give a score if you don't want to. I put scores just because I'm like that. But all right, first game of the week, we got Lions at the Chiefs. I think this is gonna be a high scoring one. This is my second highest scoring game of the weekend. But I got the Lions winning it because there's no Chris Jones for this game. So Chris Jones is not playing unless if he signs his contract before then. But I think he's holding out before that. He's still going to be holding out. So who we got, boys, for the Lions at the Chiefs week 1 opening game?
I'm with Jamal's woo. I'm with you. Go ahead, bro.
Yeah, no Chris Jones. So that I think that really changes things because that means Goff is going to have a long time to throw. Now we don't have Jameson Williams these first 6 games, but I think Jameson Williams is a much less loss than Chris Jones is for sure. But granted, Chris Jones might come back before then, but he is in a holdout right now for a better contract. I don't know why they haven't given it to him, by the way, because they should just give him whatever he wants. But whatever. I've got the Lions and Chiefs 38-31 Lions by 1 touchdown. This was a tough one though for me, just because I am a little biased though. But I had to give my Lions an edge a little bit just because of Chris Jones.
Jared Goff is the most underrated quarterback in the NFL right now. I'll say that.
Jared Goff is very good. I think people forgot how good he is.
And you want to talk underappreciated? Amon-Ra St. Brown is as good as any receiver in the NFL.
Amon-Ra, yes. He can do whatever he wants to out there, especially now that if he gets more weapons around him to where he can complement them better too, or they can complement him, I guess, because he's going to be the number 1. And I think he's getting more of that with we brought in a couple good tight ends. Like Sam Laporta is very good. That tight end out of what is he at, Iowa?
Yeah.
Pretty sure he's out of Iowa. Yeah. Sam Laporta is going to be really good. Jahmyr Gibbs, we're going to run him out of the backfield. He's going to run a slot receiver. He's going to give Amon-Ra hopefully some room. And luckily, we have one of the best offensive lines in football too. So Jared Goff is going to have time to throw.
I like. I'll tell you this much. I like Laporta as much as I like any of the two tight ends picked ahead of him. May not have had as much hype. Gibbs, I think Gibbs is not as, and there is some bias, I will admit it. I don't think Gibbs is as good as Robinson, but I don't think there's as huge of a steep drop as people realize. I actually think Gibbs is better out of the backfield as a receiver.
Well, okay. I think if Bijan would have been there when the Lions were making the pick, they probably would have picked Bijan, but
they would have picked Bijan for sure, guaranteed.
But I still haven't heard a prediction at any of you guys yet, though.
But the prediction, though, here's my and that's where I'm like taking the long route to this. I promise you. Okay. I think their Detroit secondary, is a lot better. I like the C.J. Gardner Johnson pickup, and I like the Cam Sutton pickup, and I think Hutchinson could make problems for Mahomes. But man, stopping Patrick Mahomes is a hell of a lot easier said than done, and I don't think that Goff can win a shootout with Mahomes. I don't think too many quarterbacks can. I think the Lions defense is improved, but I don't think it's improved enough. I think it'll be exciting. I think it'll be close, but I got to go Kansas City here. I'm going to say Kansas City. I'm going to go Kansas City 42, Detroit 38. But I think Detroit shows a lot of potency in this game, and they put a lot of teams on alert that they're going to be.
I definitely think this week 1 game is going to put people on notice that the Lions are going to, even if they don't win, as long as it's close with the Chiefs. I'm okay with losing to the Chiefs week 1, by the way. I'm not going to be pissed if we lose. I'm almost expecting to lose. I predicted a win just because I'm going to try and speak it into existence, but I'm okay if we lose.
So it's going to be one of those Rocky Balboa ones where if they lose, but it's close, it's a win with it's as
yeah.
You don't there's no such thing as what's it called? There's no such thing as wins there's no such thing as good close losses, but in this case, let's like the participation trophy win, but in this case it would be because it's the Chiefs. It's the Chiefs.
And the good thing after the Chiefs too was we have 6 or 7 very easy, not easy, but winnable games for us. So we have a minute and a half left. I need a prediction out of Jamal. I need a prediction out of Joe before we go into the first little break here.
You go ahead, Joe.
Unfortunately, I'm a Lions fan just as much as you are, Donald, but I don't see Detroit winning this one. they can, as JP said, they cannot win a shootout with Patrick Mahomes. But I'm going to go with a score of 38-31.
That's exactly what I had, was 38-31 Lions, though. So
I think it'll be closer. I think it'll be Chiefs 38, Lions 34. But I will say Goff can win a shootout with Patrick Mahomes because he did when he was with the Rams when they won 54-51 in LA.
Yeah, but I think that's before Pat Mahomes really ascended to the point where he is now. But I definitely think he can, though. I definitely think he could. So
he put up 51 against the NFC champs that year.
Yeah,
on the road.
That was one of the very first games where Pat Mahomes went crazy. So, but we're going into our first intermission now, and we will see you after the break. All right, we are back for session number 2. We were just talking about the week 1 NFL predictions here. So recap real quick. I had the Lions, and I think all the rest of you guys had the Chiefs, right?
Affirmative on this end.
Yep.
Pretty sure all the rest of you guys had Chiefs, but it's going to be a close game, though. I think it's going to be a good game. They picked a really good game to be kickoff game on Thursday night. Be a good game regardless, though. Even with no Chris Jones, it's going to be high scoring probably. All right, we're going to go to Sunday, first game to kick off on Sunday, right at noon. Bengals at the Browns. Now, the first question I have here is if Burrow is going to be fully healthy. If Burrow is fully healthy, then I like the Bengals' chances. If he's not, then I think there's a problem for the Bengals in this game at least. But what are you guys thinking for this game? Bengals at Browns.
I do believe that Burrow will be back for week 1. And if he's back, I can see the Bengals taking it. I couldn't tell you what the score is going to be, but I got a feeling in my gut that it would be the Bengals.
Yep. For reference, I guess I never told you mine. I have the Bengals 27-17. Could be a little higher scoring than that because I don't know how much I trust either one of these defenses. I would tend to probably lean to the Bengals defense more, although the Browns secondary is pretty good. They got Denzel Ward and stuff like that. So, yeah, but I'm going with the Bengals, though, because I think Burrow will be back, and I don't think I think Joe Mixon's going to be pretty good this year. And obviously, their receiving core of Jamar Chase and T. Higgins and stuff, I think they're going to be a little too much to overcome for the Browns this week 1. Now, I don't think the Browns are going to be bad either. I think the Browns are going to be all right, but I think week 1 they had a bad matchup in the interdivision game too. So that game might actually have end of year implications anyways. So we need to maybe look back at this one come to the end of the year because maybe like tiebreaker situation, something like that. But what do you other two think, Jay and Jamaal? You think you got winning this one?
What do you think, bro?
You go. Let me go. How good? Like I know over the years, like the Bengals, they always say the Bengals don't really have that good of an offensive line, right?
I think they have added a couple. They added a left tackle, so they added Burrow's blind side. They added a new left tackle.
Do the Browns still have Myles Garrett?
Yes.
Joe Burrow's coming off an injury right now.
Forgot about Myles Garrett. Yeah, I don't know how you forget about Myles Garrett, but I forgot about Myles Garrett. They have Myles Garrett and Denzel Ward. That's like the two I could tell you from their defense. But
like it always seems like the NFL is like tricky, kind of like college football. Like you know who you should pick, but there's always like those close games that shouldn't even be close.
Yeah. Well, there's going to be parity in this game anyways because, there's question marks going into the game if Burrow's even going to be 100%. If Burrow plays, I don't think he's going to be 100% anyways. And especially if he has Myles Garrett running at him, I mean, that's a yikes anyways.
Yeah. And to be honest with you, I got more questions about Deshaun Watson more than I have Joe Burrow.
Yeah, I was going to get to that. I was going to say something about Deshaun Watson too, because the problem with me for Deshaun Watson, it's not him. I don't know who he's throwing to. Like he has David Njoku and Nick Chubb. Like who are his receivers? I don't know.
Oh, he has a Tennessee boy in Tillman. He has a Tennessee boy.
Oh, they drafted Tillman, didn't they?
Tillman's good.
They drafted Tillman, yeah.
It was nice.
They got
Everybody's like, how you got all the credit? Yeah, you got Amari Cooper.
Oh, Amari Cooper. Yeah. Actually, no, Amari Cooper's good. Yeah. I forgot about him. I don't know how I forgot about Amari Cooper either, but
Come on, man.
I have all these notes and I forgot about Amari Cooper, man.
I'm just gonna say it just because I'm gonna say, yeah, let's go Cleveland. We'll go 30-27 last second field goal.
Oh, I like that. I think this is going to be a good game too. I think it's going to be a one-score game. Even though I have it 10 points, I think the Bengals are like going to get it back and then kick a field goal to like put it out of reach or something. But that I think it's going to be a good game. I think it's actually going to be more defensive than we're giving it credit for, even though we're really just talking about the offenses a lot in this, besides Myles Garrett and stuff. But I think it's going to be more defensive than anything. And then whenever the scores come, they're going to be big scores. So, Jay, what are you thinking here? Who think you wins?
The Bengals did give Orlando Brown Jr. $64 million over 4 years for situations like this, and he's going to have his first test to prove, look, I'm deserving of this contract by getting the aforementioned Myles Garrett. He's going to have his work cut out for him. And Myles Garrett, as Chris Berman once said, you can't stop him. You can only hope to contain him. Watson is going to be the wild card. He really is. I think a lot of Watson's situation last year was bumping the rust off. He hadn't played you're talking a guy who hadn't taken a snap in a year and a half, right? He didn't play his last full season in Houston. He was suspended the first, 10 games last year in Cleveland.
Yeah, something like that.
So if the rust is bumped off, we know what Watson's capable of, and we know that this guy can make chicken salad out of chicken shit. I mean, he wasn't exactly throwing to 5-star receivers and superstars in Houston his last year. There, he put up his best statistical season, throwing it to Kiki Kute and some other jabroni whose name I can't even remember now, Chad something or another. That's playing in the XFL. I mean, he wasn't throwing it to high level guys. This is going to be a lot closer than people think. Another one. And make no mistake about it, Kevin Stefanski's coaching for his job here this year. I could see an upset
about him.
You think that about him? Do you think he's hot seat?
I didn't even think about like that specifically, but I agree with you though. I feel like maybe I should have given the Browns a little bit more credit when I was predicting this, but I don't know. I was just looking at it as if Burrow is back, I think he is. Because to me, I think he's like probably third best quarterback in the league. I think Mahomes and probably Josh Allen are better than him. But Joe Burrow's up there anyway. So I think he will lead them, but I think this will be down to the wire for sure.
No doubt about it. And listen, Joe Burrow, we don't know if he's going to be at 100%. We don't know if he's going to be at 50%. But Joe Burrow, even at 25%, is better than 90%, 95% of the quarterbacks in the league. I mean, he is number
sure.
And you've got that amazing receiving core. Even Tyler Boyd, who would be a number one a lot of other places. So that's going to be tough to stop, even with that elite defense. So another game I think is going to be a lot closer than people realize. But I know I'm psychoanalyzing the shit out of this. But I'm gonna go Cincinnati 31-28.
Like that.
Okay, so we got two Bengals, and Joe, did you go the Browns?
I went Bengals.
Okay, so we got 3 Bengals and 1 Browns, but again, this one's gonna be close. So I either one of us could go on the fence. Like any of us could go on the fence with that. So a couple of good games to start off here. This one, I don't know if it's gonna be so close. We've got the Texans at the Ravens. Now, there's definitely storylines in this game. Return of OBJ, CJ Stroud's first NFL start, Will Anderson's first NFL start. But I don't think the Texans are there yet. I think they will be eventually, but I don't think they're there right now. And it's in Baltimore, and Baltimore is not an easy place to play. With Lamar Jackson, who's going to be really fueled to go. They don't have J.K. Dobbins back yet because he is holding out for a bigger contract, which I don't know if he's going to get. But I still think I see the Ravens here winning by 2 scores here, 28-17. And I like they got Zay Flowers too, so they're trying to give Lamar some options to throw to. So now they got OBJ, Zay Flowers, Mark Andrews. J.K. Dobbins when he gets back, but I don't know if it's enough yet for Lamar. I don't know if he has enough weapons yet to really try and contend for like a Super Bowl, but to contend for his division, which we said in the last show, if you guys watched the last show, tough ass division. That might be the toughest division in the sport at the moment. Is that the AFC North? Is that what that is? or
Yeah.
AFC North. That might be the toughest division in football right now. There's a couple close to it, but that one is rough.
Oh yeah.
But you guys think the Texans have a chance here, or you think it's going to be Ravens all day?
From my perspective, I'm just going to say this. This is the first time that I actually think the Texans have hope. I got a quarterback I believe in. They've got a criminally underrated running back in Damian Pierce, who I think is going to be a top 3 running back this year. I'm putting that on record right now. I think he's going to finish top 3 in rushing yards and touchdowns. They've got a head coach that, listen, this guy wasn't dug out of the dumpster pile from 2015. All due respect to Lovie Smith, and he wasn't pulled off of the coaching staff of Baltimore at 65 years old, never been a position coach. This man was a coveted head coach. Houston has promise, and they're going to play for him. They are going to play for oh God, just brain farted. They're going to play. They're going to play hard for the dude. You know what I mean?
Oh, Mechie?
No, their head coach. Christ.
Oh,
D'Amico Ryans.
Thank you, Ryans.
Yeah.
They're going to play for Ryans. They're going to play hard for Ryans. They're going to bust. He's a guy they run through walls for. I think you're going to see steps forward for Houston this year. And I love Will Anderson. I think he is the best player to come out. I think he's going to be the best player to come out of this year's draft.
Now, I do agree that the Texans are getting better. I just don't think they're there yet. I just don't think they're there yet. And they definitely need to give CJ Stroud some more people to throw to, for sure. Yeah. Because I don't know if I could tell you a single receiver on the Texans, and I'm really good with I'm really good with knowing names and stuff, and I forgot Amari Cooper. But listen, okay, I know a lot of people on these random ass teams. I couldn't tell you anybody on the Texans.
Dalton Schultz is good. Dalton Schultz is good, like the tight end.
Oh yes, they've got Dalton Schultz from the Cowboys, the tight end. Yes, Dalton Schultz is good.
And if you guys want to pick up a sleeper on your fantasy football team and you need a tight end, get Dalton Schultz, because the rookie quarterbacks throw to tight ends a lot, and Schultz is Mr. Reliable.
Yes, Dalton Schultz is very good. He was good with the Cowboys, and if you can be good with the Cowboys, you can be good with anybody. If you have Dak Prescott throwing you the ball and you're good, I mean, Jesus. But what about you, Joe and Jamal? What you think? You think the Texans have a chance, or you think the Ravens are still going to win? By the way, Jay, do you still think the Ravens are going to win? Or
yeah, I think Houston's going to make it competitive, but I think the Ravens win. I think this is it's not going to be the close game, but I think Houston's going to be competitive throughout. I don't think they're going to get rolled. But I got this Baltimore 35, Houston 24.
Do you think OBJ fits in this team, or
depends upon? I mean, there's another scenario. The guy OBJ didn't play at all last year, and that's what's concerning to me. When you take that much time off, and you're coming off a significant knee injury, I think he fits, but will he be the same OBJ that we saw? I know one name I'm really liking is Zay Flowers. I like him a lot.
I like Zay Flowers. Yeah,
I like Zay Flowers. I think if one steps forward, him and Andrews, I don't really have high hopes for OBJ this year, to be honest with you, just because I said the time off, the knee injury, and his numbers had sort of been looking on the downward since he left, since he left the Giants, let's be honest. So I think he does fit, though. I think he does fit what Baltimore needs.
All right, what you guys
I believe Zay Flowers is going to be opening up some eyes this year. I'm going to go on record saying that right now. I think that's going to be your offensive rookie of the year.
I could see it.
Yeah, I think Zay is going to be really good. Especially, I think Lamar is going to realize how good he is, and he's going to try and give him the ball even more.
Oh, he'll have plenty of opportunities to shine. Don't get me wrong. Now, do I think that I agree with JP? I don't think the Texans are quite there yet. I mean, they're getting better, but they're not quite the dumpster fire they've been in the past 2 seasons. I'll put it that way.
I think their defense still needs improving, especially in the secondary. Because nowadays, if you don't have an elite secondary, you're not going, unless if you can just outshoot people. Like, I know the Chiefs don't have the most elite secondary, you know what I mean? But I think Pat Mahomes makes up for that.
And
so you either had better have an elite offense, or you better have a secondary who can cover.
And that's exactly where I think Baltimore is going to torch them, is right in that secondary.
Yep.
I see Baltimore taking this one 28-10.
That's about around what I put. I put 28-17. So I gave them an extra touchdown. What you think? You think it's going to be something like that, Jamal?
I think the way Lamar went out last season, he has a gripe, because a lot of people are talking about Joe Burrow, Josh Allen. I almost said Priest Holmes. My bad, Patrick Mahomes. I almost said Priest Holmes. I can't believe I almost said that. But yeah, Patrick Mahomes, and rightfully so, and all them. Everybody's sleeping on Lamar Jackson, and I think the addition of Zay Flowers makes Odell's comeback that much easier, because with Zay Flowers, you might have the other team's number one corner playing Zay Flowers instead of Odell.
What do you think? The thing I think that's going to help OBJ is the biggest is not even Zay. I think it's going to be Mark Andrews, because then a safety probably has to come down and guard Mark Andrews, because you're not sticking a linebacker on Mark Andrews. They're going to have to bring a safety to help on Mark Andrews, and as soon as you put a safety on him, I'm sure Odell's not as fast as he used to be, but Odell is quick. I'm sure he can get by if he gets by one of those safeties, you better kiss it goodbye. And I know Lamar has a cannon.
Like this is what I'll say. This is what I'll say about Odell, because didn't he tear his ACL?
Yes.
Before he got to the Rams.
Yeah, I think he tore it in the Super Bowl. I think.
He heard it before, though. He heard it when he was on the Browns, and then he came back.
He tore it when he was on the Browns.
Right.
Do you remember his Super Bowl performance?
Yeah,
he was doing pretty good. He had a few catches.
The Super Bowl, he was tearing it up. Yeah.
He caught a touchdown. That man, everybody was like, "Oh snap!" You know what?
No, I'm not even going to lie to you. When he caught that first touchdown, I legitimately thought OBJ was going to try and win like the MVP for the Super Bowl, and then he got hurt. So I was like, oh, what a comeback story. Come back, win Super Bowl MVP, catch like 3 tuds, be the hero. But it was always going to be Matt Stafford, though, and I'm glad it was Matt Stafford. But
yeah. See, I think because of Mark Andrews being a safety blanket, not to mention Lamar can also run the ball.
Yeah.
So literally, I'm not asking OBJ to be necessarily OBJ. Just give me about 5 catches, maybe 65 to 70 yards or whatever. I'm good. Zay Flowers, Lamar, Mark Andrews, they can hold it all. I think the Houston Texans, they're going to show glimpses of their future in this game. They're going to show glimpses. But at the end of the day, I think it's really a complete game by Baltimore. I'm going to say 41-14.
Oh, so it's going to be a blowout, but okay. I can see that, though. I can see the Ravens putting up some points, really trying to make a statement that they're going for it, and the Texans are going to try and do the same thing, but they just aren't good enough. Yeah. They're not there yet.
The Texans are going to be one of those competitive teams that you don't want to see on the schedule because you're afraid to lose to them. But like, they're so young and they're going to be hungry. And DeMeco Ryan, he knows Houston Texans. He knows that culture. He's going to try to revive it to where they were like, J.J. Watt, Andre Johnson, those guys, like he's going to try to revive that thing back. Like, Texans is going to be that feisty little pest, that little, they're going to be that team.
Too, the Texans play in the AFC South, which might be one of the worst divisions in football. We're talking about one of the best divisions in football with the Ravens. One of the worst divisions in football is the AFC South, what the Texans play in. And I don't think they're going to win that, because I think the Jaguars are pretty much winning that. But the Titans and Colts are in it too, if anybody didn't know that. But I just don't see any other team giving the Jaguars a run for their money. But I can see the Texans trying to shoot. I see them shooting above their weight, at least in the division, because the division they play in. Because they play those guys 5 times. So
yeah, I agree.
I hate to say this. I think the Texans at this point might be the second best team in the damn division. I mean, if all balls fall into place. Well, think about this. Jonathan Taylor might sit out the whole damn year. Think about this.
I honestly think he will, because they said now that he's not getting traded. So
and Anthony Richardson is raw as raw gets. I think Anthony Richardson will run the football really well. I think Anthony Richardson is a bigger version of Justin Fields, who is still developing. All right. And listen, I know this is going to be unpopular opinion, and it's not a knock on your state, Jamaal, but Henry's at the age where he's already starting to show signs of breakdown. I don't trust Ryan Tannehill as far as I can throw the guy. All right, they just lost their number 1 receiver. I mean, this division sucks. And if Jacksonville can go from the abomination they were to a playoff victory, Houston can do the same thing in 1 year. I'm not saying they're going to win 10, 12 games, but this division's so shitty that they could win 6 games and finish second place in the division. I mean, I think, look, C.J. Stroud is a winner. DeMeco Ryans is a winner. You can't teach that shit. You cannot teach.
Hold on. Is DeAndre Hopkins hurt?
He's got Ryan Tannehill throwing him the football.
Ryan Tannehill was 12-5 not too long ago.
That doesn't matter. And with Derrick Henry running the football. With Derrick Henry running the football.
Mike Vrabel is a top 3 coach.
All right. He was 12. And Ryan Tannehill was you and me, and you, me, Joe Violet, and Dawn could have won 12 games with Derrick Henry running the football 40 times a game. Come on, let's be realistic.
And by the way, his backups, if you haven't seen them,
they're terrible.
Yeah. Derrick Henry's backups, yeah, they can run the football too. Like Mike Vrabel, what he does is like kind of like what Patrick Mahomes does. Like his coaching is amazing underneath that Bill Belichick tree. Usually under the Bill Belichick tree, usually it's something messed up that happens. But Mike Vrabel puts them in position to always succeed, regardless if it's, we may not be the sexiest team or anything like that, but we're definitely second. I do believe Jacksonville is the best team in that division. But there's no way I'm putting Houston over Tennessee.
I would, just because. Look, Vrabel's a fine coach. They won 7 games last year. I mean, come on. I like Vrabel too, but he's not Jesus Christ Almighty when it comes to human beings. I mean, listen, with this roster, I'd be surprised if Lombardi could win 7 games. Like, Tannehill is not good. He's not good. He hasn't been good for,
So I honestly think, Jay, tell me, how many weeks do you think it takes for them to throw Will Levis in there and just see what he does?
If Levis looks like shit like he is in training camp, they're stuck with Tannehill all year. That's the problem.
But how many weeks do you think it takes for them to throw Will Levis in there because Tannehill's being shitty?
It takes them 52 because he's not going to touch the field this year.
Levis wasn't good. That's the problem.
Well, I don't think Will Levis is good, but if you're going to draft him, I mean, they drafted him in the second round, but
they did it with they did the same with Willis last year.
Yeah, and they did Malik Willis too, and he hasn't played either. So I don't know.
I mean, nobody. Don't get me wrong. Tannehill had a bad game against Cincinnati because that's what everybody thinks about. Everybody, but also they forget Tannehill was hurt a lot of the year last year, and they started off 7-3, if I recall correctly. Then he got hurt. His ankle got hurt. Now, I'm not saying Tannehill is Josh Allen or everything like that or whatever, but he does what he does. He manages the game. I know it's not the sexy term. You're going to win in 2023. You have to have the blockbuster, everything like that. Vrabel doesn't ask him to be that.
No, I think Tannehill's like a shittier Jared Goff.
Yeah, he's a game manager. That's all he's been.
He's like Jared Goff, but he's shittier.
Right, exactly. And that's
but you know what? He was a game manager that won 12 games not too long ago.
I'm not saying Tannehill's. I'm not shitting on him though. I think Tannehill is still the best quarterback on that team by a lot. That's not saying much, but he definitely is.
Don't get me wrong. Everybody wants that sexy player that can throw it like Mahomes. Not everybody is Mahomes. Not everybody is Josh Allen. Not everybody is Joe Burrow. All right, I get that and everything, but if you're going to tell me literally that the Texans and the Colts right now are still better than the Titans.
No, I don't think the Colts are better than them. I think the Colts are going to be in the bottom of the division. I think the Colts are going to be the bottom of the division.
And I think the Texans will win probably 6 games, but like telling me that they're going to be with a healthy Tannehill, but no.
With a healthy, if Derrick Henry's not healthy, they're screwed. I'm just going to say that right now. If Derrick Henry's not healthy, Tennessee's screwed. And we said, I know you talked about Hopkins. Rewind last year, and the same thing was said about Julio Jones.
Oh yeah. By the way, whenever Derrick Henry was hurt and everything, and we had Hilliard, we still ran roughshod, and we still did good.
He won 7-10
with Henry. I'm just saying now. He has good running backs. Like behind him, we got DeAndre Hopkins. We got DeAndre Hopkins, and he's going to take some relief. Thank God.
So I like the DeAndre Hopkins pickup because it makes it to where Derrick Henry is not the only fucking person I can look at on the team and be like, you're worth the shit.
No. The only thing that they have to worry about is Treylon Burks being healthy, because
Treylon Burks is all right. He's all right too.
If Burks is healthy, they're all right. Yeah.
Treylon Burks, he's healthy. I think he's a good matchup against the other team's number 2 corner. You have DeAndre go against the elite corners and everything, but you have Treylon Burks do what he does and everything. And if Tannehill gets a great connection with Burks, I'm not saying Tennessee is going to win the division, but I'll say they'll be pretty close to a wild card. And here's the thing, I could be biased all I want because I'm from Tennessee, but I'm giving you just my honest gut feeling.
I think Tennessee has a chance of having a winning record, but I think how difficult the AFC is right now, I don't think they're going to get a wild card. but I can see them going 9-8, 10-7, 9-8, something like that. At least having a winning record, I can see that for sure. But I don't know.
I think they get 4. I think they get 4 wins in their division. I think they sweep Houston and Indy. I really do. But I think Houston is going to give them a lot more problems than Indy. I will say Houston probably is number 3, but at the same time, like it could be under.
Yeah, for me, I think any given week for me, it's a toss up between Tennessee. It depends on what Tennessee you get is the big thing. If you get the good Tennessee, the Tennessee that can be good, or you get the Texans who are really just fighting for D'Amico Ryans and giving all their best. I think the Titans at their best are better than the Texans at their best. The problem is,
can we all just agree here that you can trust a glass of water from Hell, Michigan, more than you can the chances of getting of seeing an AFC South team winning?
I don't know, man. Jacksonville.
Jacksonville could be a sleeper, bro.
Yeah.
Jacksonville look nice. I'm a little scared of them.
Yeah, Jacksonville's gonna be
nice.
good.
They nice. Yeah, Duval. Oh yeah, they.
No, the point is you don't know if you're gonna get shits or if you're gonna be refreshed.
Yeah, but the thing is, Jacksonville, though, they had 2 shitty head coaches in back-to-back order. And I can't tell you how big of an abomination Urban Meyer actually was as an NFL head coach. As good of one as he was in college, his rah-rah, my shit don't stink game did not work in the NFL, as anybody knew it would, okay? Say whatever you will about Doug Peterson. The guy knows his NFL game. Okay, they've got a top Super Bowl champion in Philadelphia. I mean, you got that counts for something. I mean, Philadelphia never won shit before him as Super Bowl wise, and he led them to the promised land. Andy Reid didn't even do that. All right, they've got an elite quarterback. They've got a really, really high-end running back who could be top 5 when it's all said and done. I think the receiving core is good enough to where they can win games. Jacksonville's dangerous, man. They're dangerous.
They picked up Calvin Ridley.
Yeah, Ridley. That's what I'm saying. They're dangerous enough. They're dangerous enough. I mean, they got Ridley. They got Kirk. They're dangerous, man. Yep. They're dangerous.
Moving on to the one of the other teams in Florida. Moving on to the Buccaneers game. Bucks at Minnesota Vikings. Now, both teams have gotten worse in the offseason, progressively worse. And I'm not saying this is going to be the most amazing game. I don't think either one is insane. I think the Vikings are still better by quite a bit than the Bucks, but this is going to be an ugly game, I think.
I think this is going to be a blowout.
Yeah, me too.
But I think this is going to be.
I've got the Vikings 35-21, so two scores.
I'd rather wipe my ass. I'd rather wipe my ass with sandpaper than trust Baker Mayfield to run my football team.
My God.
Okay. Say that right off the bat.
I think one of the big things we're going to see in this game, a breakout player here. I think the Bucks are going to be focusing so hard because their defense is still all right, but the Bucks offense is just atrocious. But I mean, they have Mike Evans and Chris Godwin, but it's not going to be good. I'm telling you that right now, it's not going to be good. But I think Jordan Addison, their rookie receiver, I think he's going to be rather good out of USC. I think he's going to be a good compliment to Justin Jefferson because I think he's going to be open a lot. Now, the loss of Dalvin Cook hurts him a little bit.
Matt's about to go off.
Yeah, I agree with you. Madison's a beast.
Madison's very good too. Suddenly you look at the receiving core, they lose Thielen, but then they have Madison and Jordan Addison. That's a nice. I mean, that rhymes anyways. But
do they still got KJ Osborne?
Yes,
because I think he's a sleeper. I think people.
So they got KJ Osborne, Jay Jettas, Jordan Addison. They didn't even need to draft another receiver, and they got Jordan Addison. So
Hawkinson's Hawkinson. What the fuck?
They got the Cock and Socks. I mean, come on.
Yeah, the guy from Detroit, the guy that they picked up from Detroit and trade on that.
TJ Hawkinson, Cock and Socks.
He's probably good too. I mean, that's good. I think Minnesota's a lot better than people think.
Yep. Being in the NFC North, I think that is the Lions' biggest competition will be the Vikings. Now they lost Dalvin Cook. So running the ball is not going to be their thing. But fuck it. They might just sling that bitch the entire game. Who knows?
Madison is about to be Tony Pollard 2.0.
Oh, so you think he's going to be the number one running back the whole year?
Yep. This year's Tony Pollard.
I agree.
He's this year's Tony Pollard because I will say this right now. when it comes to y'all three knowledge in the NFL, I don't compare to y'all because I'm not as good as y'all. But I will tell you this, Sports 101 viewers, play fantasy football and you can hang with like the experts better than you think. I can't hang with y'all with knowledge or whatever, but I can say playing fantasy football to help me a lot because I actually hold a little bit of my own.
Hey, Jamaal, if you think Madison's going to be a good running back this year, you've been paying enough attention. You know more than you realize, man. Madison, every time he's been given a chance to start when Dalvin Cook's hurt, which was often, he's proven he can be the guy. You know your shit. You know your shit.
Yeah, I like Madison a lot.
Well, the only reason why is because I had Dalvin Cook last year for fantasy football, and I was just like, dang, Madison is just straight killing.
Yeah.
He helped carry me to a win in another league last year.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Now we're gonna keep moving on. This next game might have been the hardest one for me to. I literally sat here. I had to go into the other room and like ask people like what they thought. This one is an intriguing game for me. I don't know why. The Panthers at the Falcons.
Ooh.
It's Bryce Young's first game, Bijan Robinson's first game. It's not that far of a drive for either team. Well, I guess in the grand scheme of things, but there's going to be it's a road game at the Falcons, and they always show up pretty good in Atlanta. But I think the Panthers, I like who they've gotten. They got Miles Sanders, Adam Thielen, DJ Shark. I mean, they tried to put together a team for Bryce Young here. They tried to put together an offense. They got somebody on their offensive line. Who was it? They got somebody on the offensive line. They drafted well. I mean, the Panthers are going on the up and up for sure. But the Falcons, I think the Falcons are trying to solidify themselves, get back in there. I like Drake London as a receiver. Bijan Robinson. I mean, we haven't seen it yet, but I think Bijan will be good. If they can figure out their quarterback situation, like I guess they're going with Desmond Ridder. I don't know how much faith I have in Desmond Ridder yet. I maybe I need to see more. But I like Kyle Pitts. Obviously, Kyle Pitts is really good. But it's really their defense for me that is not really doing it. You know, I have questions on that side of the ball for the Falcons. So for that reason, I have the Panthers winning 28-24. But I think this will be a good game, though.
I'll tell you why. Atlanta's offense, especially with Ridder, doesn't scare me so much. It could be potentially scare me. It doesn't scare me in a bad way. Ridder can run the football, right? Ridder, when he took over from Marcus Mariota last year, moved the offense a lot better. Now, granted, that doesn't say much because Mariota is a giant heaping turd in a punch bowl. But
he's not good.
No, but here's the way I'm looking at this, okay? They drafted Bijan Robinson despite the fact that they had a rookie running back in Tyler Algieri who put up over 1,000 yards last year.
Tyler Algier I forgot about him too. He's pretty nice.
So if you run a Philadelphia-style offense, right, which is the rugby style, smash you in the mouth and throw the football, right, and you utilize Drake London as that A.J. Brown, and you utilize Pitts as that bigger version of Devonta Smith, or like so I'm not going to say Dallas Goedert. He's better than Dallas Goedert. He's more of a physical freak. And Atlanta's offense could be sneaky good this year. But you're right, their defense sucks. Their defense is just very, very frightening. And I don't mean that in a good way. But I'm with you. I think Carolina wins this one. I think they were close to the playoffs last year. I think they got a huge upgrade at coach. They got a huge upgrade at quarterback in Bryce Young, another one that knows how to win. Offense is sufficient. Running back's going to be different this year. It's going to be different seeing them without Christian McCaffrey, but I still think they're.
But I like Miles Sanders. I like DJ Shark. I like Thielen. I mean, they went out and got guys that's going to get open enough for CJ Stroud to actually hit. So.
I like the kid they got out of Ole Miss with Jonathan Mingo. I like him.
Mingo. Yep.
So they've got the pieces. I think Carolina's sneaky. I think they're real sneaky.
Yep.
So I got them winning this one. I got them winning at 24-13.
All right, Joe. What do you think? Who do you think comes out on top of this one? Panthers, Falcons. Got a minute and a half left, by the way, Joe.
I'd have to say Carolina. 21-7.
21-7 Panthers. All right.
Yep.
Did you Jamaal? I don't think you gave a prediction. Who you think win in this one? Panthers, Falcons.
Honestly, I have no clue. I don't know.
This one was hard for me.
Both teams, but like the way y'all talked about it, I'd say Carolina. I'll say 24-19.
24-19. That's a weird score line, or 19, but I like it though. I like it different. I like it. All right, we're coming to a close for this session. When we come back, we're going to finish our week 1 predictions and then get into the Trey Lance situation too with the Cowboys. So stay tuned. And welcome back to session number 3 of the Sports 101 podcast. We are nose deep in the NFL. Oh, hey, where did Joe go? 1 second here, folks. We got Joe rejoining the call. But I'd say I left you guys on a cliffhanger, but right now we got Jay. What news do you have for us, Jay?
This just broke with AEW. At the upcoming pay-per-view, it's going to be announced on Collision. And this is no lie. This is no exaggeration. And I wish if Violet will hear, he'll shit himself when he hears this one, and not in a good way. Read this up here. At All In, or at All Out, the pay-per-view, it'll be Ricky Starks in a strap match against Ricky the Dragon Steamboat.
Oh, Ricky Steamboat? Like, you mean like WrestleMania 3 Steamboat?
Like WrestleMania 3 Ricky the Dragon Steamboat. Yeah. 70-year-old Ricky Steamboat will be having a strap match against Ricky Starks at AEW's pay-per-view. I don't mean to bitch and bellyache about AEW. I think they do plenty of good things. I try my damnedest to give the benefit of the doubt, but what the fuck are we doing here, man? Come on. What is this? What is this?
Who the hell does this help?
By the way, no disrespect to Steamboat, because like I'm not gonna doubt any 70-year-old because he's probably in way better shape than I'll ever be in my entire life. But I'm just confused.
That makes 2 of us, my brother. That makes 2 of us because listen. And I'll keep this because we got a lot of football to talk about. Every time AEW takes 10 steps forward, they take 15 steps back. It's bad enough they got the CM Punk bullshit going on again, CM Punk's latest fiasco. Okay, they will not fire this guy for whatever reason. But now you have a 70-year-old man going out there and having a strap match with a kid that's young enough to be his grandchild. And like Joe said, who benefits from this? Ricky Starks beats Steamboat in a strap match. He beat a 70-year-old man who's been retired for goddamn near a decade. Who cares? Who cares, right? Steamboat almost has been retired for how long, Joe? 15 years? 16 years? Almost 20 years.
I don't think it's that long because he did have that short run where he went up against Jericho.
Yeah, that was, 2000? That was right when The Wrestler got released because Piper was in it. It's been over a decade because Piper was in the match. Rod's been dead almost,
about 11 years, I'd say.
Yeah, so
I'll just leave it. I'll just say this much and leave it at it. Correct me if I'm wrong, gentlemen. Didn't Chris Jericho say in an interview recently that he didn't want to wrestle Sting because AEW wasn't a nostalgia act?
Yeah.
My ass.
You told me that at work, Joe.
My ass.
No, here's the thing is, so what happened? So let's have Ricky Steamboat beat Ricky Starks. That does wonders. This is fucking ridiculous. Anyway, I said all I got to say.
Well, I was going to say I left everybody on a bit of a cliffhanger on the NFL predictions here. I really didn't. This next game might be the shittiest one of the week. We got the Cardinals at the Commanders. I mean, This has just shit bowl written all over it. I mean, this is going to be an ugly game. I don't know who's worse. Probably the Cardinals, but
I do believe we'll have our nap time scheduled for Sunday afternoon at that time.
I believe this is the first 3:25 game. So this game starts at 3:25. It should start at damn noon. No one's watching this, especially with the other games that are on at 3:25. There's some good games on at 3:25. This one's not going to be on TV. Even if you live in Washington, D.C., this game's not going to be on TV. I don't give a fuck. This is going to be a low-scoring game. It has to be. There's no way either team scores more than 20 points here.
I'd rather go out the back. I'd rather go back to Phoenix, find the most rabid rattlesnake I can find, and have it give me fellatio repeatedly, and then watch it. God, listen. All of a sudden, you had a nice segue because there's one thing I'm anticipating more than watching a 70-year-old man in a strap match. And that's this horseshit matchup between Sam Howell and Josh Dobbs. I mean, are we watching the XFL here? What the hell is this?
9-3 Cardinals.
9-3 Cardinals. I have 17-10 Commanders.
I have -6 to -3.
Because for however shocking these offenses are, the defenses are just worse. I mean, they're just worse. At least the Commanders have Terry McLaurin. That is and Brian Robinson.
No, he's hurt.
So no Scary Terry. So no Terry McLaurin.
He has turf toe.
Oh, he has turf toe. Oh, no. How are they ever going to live? They're probably still going to win without him. Brian Robinson is going to be the best player on the field by a country fucking mile.
I got the Cardinals because you know I love the Cardinals. I don't care. I got the Cardinals scoring 24. I say 24 to 17. And I say
if the Cardinals score 24 points.
I say James Conner has 2 tutties.
I think you're being pretty generous here, Jamaal.
Yeah. I think he's just excited because he had the Cardinals in fantasy last year and they did him pretty solid then. So he has faith in them now. It might be blind faith, but he's got faith and you got to give it to him. I'm okay with it.
Respect that hustle, man. Shit.
I've got the Commanders winning this. I don't give a fuck who really wins it, though. It's going to be a shitty game. No one's watching this game. Let's just move on to the next one, please. Thank you, next, bitch.
Let me ask you a real $1 million question here. You have a chance to get a hand job from somebody that has them long acrylic nails, and they have to scratch your dick the entire time, or watch this Cardinals-Commanders game the entire way through. Which are you picking?
I mean,
do I have a condom on?
No, it's bareback, and you don't get any lube to cover it up afterwards.
Hey, don't they call nails dick grippers?
Oh,
yeah, but then that's still painful even.
We're talking about some like Wolverine levels type shit right here.
That's called barbaric circumcision right there.
Well, first off, if it involves your genitalia, like it's never the genitalia is never the answer. You always got to respect that.
Never genitalia.
I mean, listen, would I rather have a Polish prostitute rip my nuts out and feed them to me, or watch that football game? I mean, I think one at least almost gives me a rush.
What, the Polish prostitute?
Yeah. One of them gives me a rush, even if it's for a second. The Cardinals Commanders game. If I make it past the first 30 seconds without falling asleep, I mean, Jesus Christ. This next game.
Shout out Josh Dobbs, Tennessee.
Shout out Josh Dobbs. Next game here. Next game. This one's gonna be a little bit more interesting. I mean,
I hope.
Hold on. One more thing. I'm sorry about this. And he really does have alopecia, Jada Pinkett.
Jada Pinkett. Shout out my homie Will Smith. You deserve better. Okay. Next game we got Jags at the Colts.
All Jags.
I got the Jags. Jags by a bunch. That's what I'm going to say. The Jags by a bunch.
Jags, how much? 35-7.
I've got 31-17.
28-10. Richardson runs for a touchdown.
37-6.
Oh, God, that is an ass whooping. That is an ass whooping.
That's a harder bend over job than anybody that actually sits through that Commanders Cardinals game. Holy shit!
I don't even know.
I'd rather take the rattlesnake on that one.
We're still going back to this fucking Cardinals game.
Give me the rattlesnake, man.
Jesus Christ. We're going to make another reference later in the show. It would be like, Cardinals or Commanders or this, you know?
Yeah. Head from a piranha.
Oh God.
This game here, I didn't know how to really judge it. It's 49ers at the Steelers. Okay, so for one, they're playing at Heinz Field. Tough place to play. Yellow towels are going to be out. 49ers, I think they're going to be good. This game specifically, I think they're going to be very good this season. This game specifically, though, the Steelers are a tough place to open the season at. I will say that. I think Mike Tomlin. We had this conversation last pod too. I think Mike Tomlin's one of the best coaches in the NFL. I think he's gonna get his team up for this. I think the biggest issue that the Steelers are going to have is Kenny Pickett. And I'm not saying Kenny Pickett's bad. I think Kenny Pickett can be good, at least game manager level good. Maybe above average game manager, but I just think the 49ers are too good here. I don't think it's going to be an ass whoop, but I got the 49ers here 27-17. 10 points. I think it's going to be
that's the exact same score I've got.
I think the defense in this game are gonna. TJ Watt is back, by the way, so I think that's one of the biggest things. Is TJ Watt is playing in this game, so if they can protect Brock Purdy, because we saw in the playoffs when Brock Purdy was under pressure, he was not nearly as good. Granted, not almost every quarterback is like that, but especially with a rookie quarterback or a quarterback going into year 2, if you get some pressure under him, especially someone like TJ Watt, I think he can cause some problems back there.
I don't think it's Purdy that they need to worry about. I don't see anybody on that Steelers defense stopping Christian McCaffrey.
Yeah, I think the tandem of Debo and Christian McCaffrey is going to be the biggest issue for anybody.
And don't look out for Brandon Ayuk too. That guy's in healthy George Kittle. That's a dangerous offense.
George Kittle, Brandon Ayuk. Yeah.
Purdy, I'll just say this: Philadelphia made a lot of quarterbacks look shitty last year that way. A lot of them. Which is what got Jonathan Gannon his job. I don't know what happened in the Super Bowl when he completely abandoned all ship in his pass rush, but that's Purdy's got something to him. I actually got to see Purdy play at Perry High School in Gilbert, Arizona, and he's got that swagger to him, that moxie to him that Trey Lance never had.
What is it we call him at work, Donald?
Big Cock Brock.
He's got Big Cock
Brock. That's what they call him, Big Cock Brock. That's what I told you. That's what they call him.
It fits him. He's got that big cock energy, and that's
Purdy got that. Like Purdy, this is all I think about Purdy. Purdy, I see that meme of like the chest X-ray and that in a dog.
And a dog, you got that dog in him for sure.
Oh shit,
you got that dog in him.
I'm so friggin' loser.
And I think he's the perfect quarterback, especially for this system, because that 49ers offense is a hard offense to learn. There is a lot to it. There's a lot of motions. There's a lot of plays. There's a lot of different like cadences that the quarterback gives. And Brock Purdy came in and picked it up right away. I don't know if he's a master of it yet, but I mean, he's had a whole offseason to get better at it. So how good the 49ers were with him in the postseason and towards the end of last year, they're only going to get better. And they got rid of Trey Lance, who was a 3rd overall pick that they gave up so much for, and they're putting the full faith in Brock Purdy, which I think they should have done anyway. Good on them. His backup is Sam Darnold, by the way. I don't know how I feel about that, but yeah. But on to the next game. Wait, did we all gave our predictions, right? We all 49ers?
No. I haven't yet, but I'll make it quick. I'll just say this: the one thing Pittsburgh or San Francisco is going to be missing is Nick Bosa, and that's not insignificant.
He's not playing this game. Yep, I forgot about Nick Bosa. He is also sitting out for a bigger contract, like Chris Jones is.
And I don't trust San Francisco's secondary that much. That was a big problem for him last year.
Yeah, but they're linebackers though. They have like the best linebackers in the league.
Yeah, you could drop Warner back there for sure. They could make up for that in other ways. I do like Pittsburgh's receiving core a lot. I do. I think George Pickens is going to take that second-year lead.
George Pickens is really good.
Johnson's decent. I mean, he had a really shitty luck last year, no touchdowns, but he's decent. Freiermuth, the tight end.
I like Pratt Freiermuth a lot. Najee Harris, obviously. Najee Harris is very good.
Najee, yep. So if their offensive line can give Pickett any kind of working room, I think he'll be an adequate NFL quarterback. This one, I think it's going to come down to the defenses, though, honestly. And Pittsburgh's defense is pretty damn good. That's their bread and butter. Now, stopping that 49er offense is not a lot easier said than done because it's potent. It's potent. But I'm picking Pittsburgh in the upset.
Okay.
17-10. I'm going to be the contrarian one here. 17-10, and that's not a homer pick. I'm a Miami Dolphin fan, but 17-10 Pittsburgh. But it's going to be a slugfest defensively.
All right. I'm going to give my prediction. First off, I want to discredit something I said in the first podcast. I said that I think this possibly could be the year that Mike Tomlin has his first losing record. That was my shocker. What is that? What that was?
That was your surprise of the year.
That was my surprise.
Your surprise.
Yeah, I'm gonna take that back. I just realized that he had a winning record with Mason Rudolph. I don't see why he can't win with Kenny Pickett. I'm just now realizing. Now I'm just like, you know what? That was a dumb take on my part because I admit when I'm wrong. But I think Purdy wins. I think it's a close one. I think it's 24-20.
Yep, I think this is going to be a pretty good game too, especially at Pittsburgh. That adds another layer of going in there and having to win at Pittsburgh. It's going to be loud, especially first game of the season. They've waited all off season for first game of the year. It's going to be a tough one for the 49ers to go in there, but I think they get it done eventually. Joe, did you give yours for this one, Joe?
Yeah, I did.
You said the 49ers?
Yeah.
Okay.
Can't remember what I thought the score was.
Oh.
We'll have it in the tape. I'll have a new editor, by the way, on the podcast. Shout out Deonna Watson, new editor.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
But she'll, I'm
Shout
sure.
out to Deonna.
Yeah, I'll have her.
Hey.
I'll have her throw up the numbers on the screen for us that we said. And she'll be keeping up with. By the way, I was thinking we do a point system with these, and we keep track of them. We do this every week. Keep track of them, of what we're at. So for like a correct prediction is 1 point. If you get the right the difference or whatever, like if it's like 27-10, if you guess a 17 point what is it called, margin of victory, if you get the margin of victory right, it's 2 points, and if you guess the exact thing, it's 3 points.
Man, if we do that, I'm more screwed than Jonathan Taylor is on the Indianapolis bench.
I'm right there with you, dude.
But
no, it ain't gonna be good. No.
It's gonna be a whole lot of 1-pointers for us, boys.
Yeah.
You can bend me over harder than the fucking. You can bend me over harder than Jamaal said that one team's gonna get bent over this week. You know.
Hey Donald. By the way, I'm gonna tell you what my real surprise is, because I think it's another black and gold team that's gonna be my surprise of the year.
Is it the Saints?
I think they might take a leap like the Lions do this year.
Dog, that's good. That's good, dog. I'm about that. I like some Derek Carr.
It's funny you say that, Jamaal, because our next game we've got the Titans at the Saints.
And I love my Titans, but man, I think them Saints are gonna be marching in. And I totally forgot that Derek Carr has. Am I saying his name right? Olave.
Yeah, Chris Olave.
He has Callaway. He has Thomas and Kamara. And I think they even got Jimmy Graham back. I don't know how good he's going to be. But I'm
Kamara's
saying,
suspended, isn't he?
Yeah, Alvin Kamara's not playing in the first game here. But
he's not playing again. But
no.
But they still got Taysom Hill. They still got him.
Yeah, got Taysom Hill still, yeah.
Yeah, they can still run him through rough shot. Man, I totally forgot how many weapons Derek Carr has.
Yep. It's the most weapons Derek Carr has ever had. And he had an okay receiving core, like Darren Waller, Henry Ruggs, faster than lightning,
Renfro, Josh Jacobs.
Hunter Renfro, Josh Jacobs, yeah.
But I was just sitting there, I was just like, oh my God. And that division is not good.
And their defense is good. Marshawn Lattimore, they've got a team.
Yeah, and I'm sitting there, I'm like, with their
defense is good.
With their division, they're smoking that division.
Yep, I think the Panthers can make it tough for them, but I think they definitely win that division handily, pretty easy.
Yeah, and I was like, why didn't I think about this before? I just totally, because I don't even think we even mentioned the Saints last time.
You know what? I think I had the same thought when I was editing the video. I was like, the Saints are actually gonna be kind of nice, but
even without Kamara out the first 3 games, you got a dude who scored 17 touchdowns last year filling in for him.
They got Jamaal Williams. They got Jamaal Williams.
Yeah. Oh, they got Jamaal. Well, you got to trust the Jamaal. I was just saying.
I forgot they got Jamaal Williams from the Lions. Yeah.
Well, I didn't even know he was on the. What?
So it's not like you have a turd backing him up. You got a stud who scored almost 20 touchdowns last year. That ain't no joke.
He led the league in rushing touchdowns last year. So
I guess I'll start off the predictions. Okay. Saints 31-17.
Joe said, "I'm sick of you guys sucking the Saints' dick. Let's just get to the predictions."
That's close to what I've got, Joe. I've got 31-21.
I got the Saints 30-20. I don't know. I got them 30-26.
Oh, so you think it's gonna be close then?
And by the way, the reason why I'm having these weird scores, these weird numbers, is because I keep having to remind myself that the PATs are not close like they used to be, and a lot of kickers have been missing.
Yeah. The good thing about this game is that in New Orleans it's a dome. So
regardless, I've seen weird stuff.
No, I could definitely see a missed extra point in there for sure. They have Will Lutz, though, the Saints, but
30-26, I could see it being 23-23. Titans kick a field goal, Saints go marching in for a touchdown, game over 30-26. You know what I'm saying? That's how bro.
Yeah, and then, Jay, you think, what was your score for the Saints?
Yeah, 34-17 New Orleans.
Yeah, I think the Saints at least score 30 in this game. The Titans defense is not what it used to be. It's not what it used to be, though. It's not what it used to be. It's all right. It's all right. It's all right, but it's not as good as it used to be.
They're good.
But I don't think they'll be able to handle Chris Olave, Michael Thomas. I think Michael Thomas is going to start to get back to the Michael Thomas that we know from a few years ago when he led the league in damn receiving. With Drew, granted, he had Drew Brees throwing to him, a little different, but but I like the Saints' chances, especially in the division they're in. Into the next game. This one is a weird one. I think both these teams have a lot of questions and not a lot of answers, but I think one has more answers than the other. It's the Raiders at the Broncos, Mile High. Now, both teams were kind of shitty last year. I don't know if the shittiness will continue. I think for the Raiders, it might. I don't see it for the Raiders this year unless Josh Jacobs just has another year where he goes stupid, but they don't have Darren Waller this year. So they lost their best receiving player, even though he's a tight end, but their top receiver last year was Darren Waller. Now they have Devontae Adams, though. So I'm prefacing this with they have Devontae Adams. They have Jimmy Garoppolo. I've never put that much stock in Jimmy Garoppolo, though. I don't think Jimmy Garoppolo is like insanely good. But I think the Raiders will struggle this year. Their defense needs to be improved. I do like Max Crosby. He's pretty good. But I think they are going to struggle heavily this year. But I got the Broncos in this one. I think the Broncos will definitely improve. Granted, they can't get much worse than they were last year. They were a heap of dog shit on fire last year. They were bad. They were bad. So the Broncos can only get better. I don't think Russell Wilson's like washed or anything. I think he can be better. The problem I think last year with the Broncos, their receivers were all hurt. They a lot of injury
like they
problems.
are right now. Like they are right now.
Are there receivers still hurt right now?
Achilles. Yeah, Tim Patrick. He's out with the Achilles. I think.
Yeah, Judy's hurt.
Judy's hurt. Yeah.
Jesus
and
Christ.
Denver's trying to ship off Cortland Sutton.
That's stupid. That's just I don't know, man.
Their receiving core is literally the Titans without DeAndre Hopkins.
But but they have good receivers. But but you can't tell me if all of them are playing and they're all healthy. Jerry Jeudy,
if
Tim
they're
Patrick,
all healthy, they're good, but they're never. Mm-hmm.
And Cortland Sutton. If they're all there, I mean that's a decent receiving group that Russell Wilson can work with. But they're just not there. Is the problem. Noah Fant, I think. Did they get Noah Fant, or is he in the
No, they traded him to Seattle in the Wilson deal. Yeah.
Who's the tight end then? I don't even know their damn tight end.
They had that Albert Ogonka Wonka, whatever the fuck his name is.
Yeah.
They traded him to Philadelphia. So I don't know who the hell they have now.
Their running back is coming back, though. Their running back was hurt, and now he's coming back. So that's good.
Yeah, Javonte will make them good. But that the big question, though, is like the $48 million question here is how much do you want to blame last year on Nathaniel Hackett being a shitty head coach? And how much do you want to blame it on the receivers being hurt? And how much can we blame it on Russell Wilson starting to show signs of father time catching up to him? I mean, I know Sean Payton's a world's better head coach than Nathaniel Hackett. Don't get me wrong. But let's be honest, man. Wilson was showing some signs of wear and tear and slippage when he was in his final year in Seattle. Joe, you can vouch for this. I said this is a very dangerous trade for Denver when they made it. That you might get another year or two out of Peyton if you're lucky, or not out of Peyton, out of Russell if you're lucky.
I think we all said it when that trade happened.
And that honest to God, that trade could not have gone better for Seattle if they tried. They wound up getting a top 10 pick in last year's draft, but little did we know it would wind up being Denver's. While they make the playoffs. I mean, so this is just another thing. Like, I think they're the better team. I think Josh McDaniels is a garbage can lit on fire full of horseshit coach. And I don't like Jimmy Garoppolo as a starter at all. But I don't know. This is gonna rival right up there with the damn Cardinals game. It's like stinky pile of fucking moose diarrhea game in a fucking week, man. Jimmy Garoppolo versus a shot Russell Wilson with like bums out of the stand that they're throwing the footballs to. This ain't much better than the Cardinals game. Somebody hand me the fucking rattlesnake.
I mean, Oakland wound up trading Derek Carr, and they got Derek Carr.
They got a shittier version of Derek Carr. They got the shittier version.
Derek Carr knows how to stay inside his own end zone.
That's like
I don't. What?
That's like trading a blowjob for fucking. That's like trading a blowjob for sucking yourself off with a vacuum cleaner, man. Come on.
Wow.
Like getting yourself off with a vacuum cleaner, man. Like you're rather than a blowjob.
Hold on. Y'all think Jimmy Garoppolo is that bad?
Yes.
I don't think Jimmy G's that good. No.
Yo.
Like to me, to be honest with you, I think Jimmy Garoppolo, like y'all said, Ryan Tannehill was Jared Goff. I think Jimmy Garoppolo is kind of like Jared Goff because they both went to a Super Bowl.
Well, here's the thing, though. Worst case scenario, we know Jimmy's not like durable at all. Jimmy's gonna take his annual trip to the doctor's office by week 6. Who the fuck is Vegas' backup? Like right now, can you tell me who Vegas' backup even is? Like,
look, this is all I'm saying. He's in Vegas, and what Stephen A. Smith would say, 4-star Jimmy G.
Oh yeah, well,
near the Bunny Ranch.
They got. Yeah, he'll get a groin. He'll be out for an STD by week 3. Oh, that's wonderful. But Brian Hoyer's his backup. Brian
Hoyer. Yeah, I just saw it. Jesus Christ.
7,000 years old. Brian Hoyer started the first ever NFL game back in 1923 against the Pottsville Maroons.
No, hold on. But you said something right there that makes me wonder how good I think Jimmy G is going to be. All right, because he's always nobody's ever trusted Jimmy G. Like no team has, and finally the Raiders have. They're like, you know what? We're not going to talk about Trey Lance. We're not going to talk about Purdy. We're not going to talk about any other quarterback. It's just you, Jimmy G. He's always had to look over his shoulder.
I don't know if this man needs his ego stroked anymore, though.
No, there's plenty of places you can go in Las Vegas to get that stroked. Oh wait,
he gets plenty of strokes.
He gets plenty of stroking.
There's plenty of places you can go to in Vegas to get that stroke. That's not ego. Never mind.
Fremont Street.
Fremont. Clarence B. Carter would be proud.
Have you been to Vegas?
Oh shit, yeah, dude. I used to cover UFC events all the time. I was
man, I miss Vegas, man. Vegas was man, gosh, man.
Hey, what happened in the circus stays in the circus, my man.
Yes, sir. I feel you, man.
Woo!
So, predictions though. Who do you guys actually have winning this game though?
I think the Raiders.
I think the Raiders because I think they're. I'll say Raiders 29-13.
Is this game in Denver or Las Vegas?
It's in Denver.
Okay, I was gonna say if it's in Las Vegas, then Ciara catches Russell with a scantily clad hooker in a circus. The Raiders win, but I'm gonna say Broncos 17-14.
I'm going with the Broncos 24-10.
Yeah,
by virtue of having the less shittier coach.
I've got Broncos 27-17.
All right, so I'm the only one with the Raiders. All right, cool.
I'll switch to the Raiders so you don't feel like an outsider. Fuck it. Russell sucks. I'll get there.
I'm gonna say this. I think Russell Wilson's an amazing quarterback, but I'm not gonna lie. Like it feels like ever since he got with Sierra, he kind of had that Sierra money, and he was like, you know what, I'm good.
Now I will give it to I will give it to the Raiders. Their secondary is probably the strongest part of their defense. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
They've got Jacorian Bennett. They've got Marcus Peters. Who else? They've got David Long. They got Jacoby Myers from the Patriots. Forgot about him.
I like him.
Yeah.
They still have Hunter Renfrow. Their offense is going to be terrible. I mean,
I don't mind Renfrow. Yeah, they got Jacobs.
They still have Devontae Adams, but
Oh yeah, I'm confident in my Raiders pick. Oh yeah.
That's a sneaky good offense. Actually, that's a sneaky good offense.
Josh Jacobs.
Yeah, you got a slot receiver here, Renfrow with Devontae Adams.
Who's their damn tight end? Let me see here. They lost Waller. Who's their backup tight end?
He was getting old anyway.
Austin Hooper.
No, he's not. He's passable. I mean, he's.
And they drafted Michael Mayer.
Yeah, that Michael Mayer's a fucking stud. Michael Mayer's going to be a stud.
They drafted Michael Mayer.
Oh,
I mean, that's a sneaky good offense, but their defense I just don't think is good enough. But their secondary is what is the best part of their defense. But
Their defense is about as mid as it gets.
Yeah.
If Michael Mayer can get the fuck out, or not Michael Mayer, if Josh McDaniel can get the fuck out of his own way, then the Raiders could be decent. They could be decent, but I don't trust. I trust a hand job from a hooker in fucking Tijuana more than I trust Josh McDaniel to coach my team. I mean, he sucks. He sucks. He's another product of the Belichick system.
Hey, hold on. First off, you got to respect Tijuana hookers now.
No, that's true. See, if you find the right one. Now, first, if she says her name's Daniela, run the other way. Trust me on that. Trust me. Trust me. Trust me.
I love this guy.
If she actually go to a donkey show, guys, trust me, she's not asking you to go to a Broncos game. Believe me on that.
No, she wants to go to that Cardinals game.
I'm gonna think that might be the donkey show might be more appealing than that Cardinals game this week.
I think I'd rather go to a full donkey show and just instead watching the fucking Cardinals game.
Watch that be one of the most entertaining games this week.
But they'll put up 50. They'll put up like 100 points between the two of them. We'll look like fucking fools next week.
No, but I think I would legitimately rather watch two donkeys have sex on YouTube for 2 hours and watch that.
Hold on, you haven't done that already?
Oh, God.
I mean, who hasn't?
Jamaal, you and I got to go to a basketball game. So who hasn't? I mean, listen, when it's 2 o'clock in the morning and the missus or our wives are sleeping, you do some crazy shit, right?
Right? Hey, speaking of doing some crazy shit, next game we have on the docket right here: Eagles at the Patriots.
Good lead in.
Oh my gosh!
Eagles at the Patriots. Crazy shit for both these teams happens all the time.
Mac Jones sucks horse dick.
Bill Belichick. Feed my man Bailey Zappi, okay?
He got cut.
They cut Bailey Zappi?
They cut Bailey Zappi. Yeah, he's on their practice squad.
Oh my God, Bailey Zappi's so good though.
I agree.
We've been talking about all these elite quarterbacks. We left one out that's involved in this game, and Jalen Hurts.
Yep.
Jalen Hurts.
I was strictly talking about AFC whenever I was saying that. I was thinking about AFC. I wasn't thinking about the NFC.
Yep. I think the Patriots are going to be a little better this year, even though they've lost a few pieces. I think they've gotten better for sure, especially the defense. They drafted well. They've got a few pieces in it, and it's Bill Belichick. I'm never going to, bet against Bill Belichick, even if he cheats. I mean, it's going to work, So I'm taking the Eagles in this game. I think their defense is going to struggle a little bit. I think the Patriots specifically running the ball are going to be pretty good this year. Now, offense, they didn't really sign too many people on offense. They got Juju, which don't get me started on Juju Smith-Schuster because he's not that good. But they got Ezekiel Elliott, which I think is a weird pickup for them. But I think if there's anybody who can get the most out of Ezekiel Elliott, because I think the biggest thing for Ezekiel Elliott, we went over this in the first show too, is his ego. I think he didn't like having to share reps with Tony Pollard, and he's not going to be the number one here, I don't think, either, because I think Ramondre Stevenson is going to be the number one for sure for the Patriots. So if there's somebody who can get it out of him, though, I think it's Bill Belichick. I think this will be a closer game than people think because it's in New England at what's their stadium name? It's the deodorant Gillette Stadium. At Gillette Stadium, those Patriots fans go crazy. Luckily, it's not the part of the year where it's like freezing because that's always a big advantage because they're used to it. But I still got the Eagles in this one, 38-28, 10 points. But I think it'll be a closer game. I think the Eagles probably pull away at the end, but especially because the Patriots have had all off season to prepare for this because they've known as soon as they realized it was the Eagles, you're going to prepare easy. You're going to prepare more for it, So, but what do you guys think of this game? We got a minute and a half left. What do we think?
Let me do my prediction. I'm gonna do mine. Usually I wait like third or fourth, but this is coming from my heart. This is coming straight from my heart. I'm a huge Tom Brady fan. Tom Brady should have 8 rings, but Bill Belichick decided not to play Malcolm Butler. I'm still mad over that. I'm still furious over that, and I don't know who Mac Jones is throwing to.
Not much. I'll give you that. Not much.
But I know who the Eagles are throwing to.
Yeah.
And not to mention,
you got like 45 seconds. By the way,
remember correctly, the Eagles in the draft picked up 2 Georgia Bulldogs.
Yeah.
That are nasty, extremely nasty. And just because what you did, Bill Belichick, I don't care. Like I'll be biased and I'll say I'm picking with my heart on this. Eagles 34, Patriots.
Okay, well, it cut off pretty hilariously, actually, right in the middle of Jamaal just drilling Bill Belichick. But he was about to give us his scoreline prediction for the Eagles at the Patriots. What is it, Jamaal?
I didn't even know I was giving the CM Punk pipe bomb with this man cut off a pipe bomb. I didn't know that was happening to me, man. I had no idea because I was sitting there. I told my prediction and I heard cricket, and I was like, "What happened?" I'm like, so yeah, Bill. Okay, so Bill, you want to hear it on my conversation? Okay, fine then. You know what? I was being lenient whenever I said Eagles 34, Patriots 6. But you know what? I changed my mind. I'm gonna go 37-3.
I like this. I love this fucking guy.
That's an old fashioned ass whooping like they used to back in the day. Jesus. Bill's never seen an ass whooping like that before, at least for a minute. It's been a minute since he's seen an ass whooping like that, but it's usually last time is Tom Brady was on the team last time that happened. All right. I said what was mine? Mine was 38-28. Was yours, Joe? Did Joe, you already give yours?
I did not give mine. I am saying Eagles 27-21.
27-21. That's a very close game. Mine's pretty close too, and I said Eagles pull away. Thinking, what's yours, JP?
Man, you're going to cut me off if I say what I think about Bill Belichick, but I don't give a damn. Nobody ever.
He's like, but let me begin.
Ain't nobody ever censored my ass thinking about the start. Now Bill Belichick can kiss my hairy white Italian ass to start off with. All right. You ran the best player in franchise history out of town because your ego is bigger than your dick is, okay?
Thank you.
Because, you can't control the fact that, you were a mediocre mid-bullshit coach with the Cleveland Browns. You would have been a mediocre mid-bullshit coach if that 6th-round pick out of Michigan came and didn't do something for you and turn your franchise into a relevant one. And you've been irrelevant ever since. And by the way, you wanted to get in this fist fight with him about Jimmy G's stupid ass. Now you're doing it with Mac Jones. You put Bailey Zappi on the fucking waiver wire, so some other team can pick him up. I'll tell you right now, I think he's going to get bent over harder than Tom Brady did by Tom Brady bent Giselle over in the bedroom every Saturday night. So I'm going to go Eagles 48-3. Eat my ass. Eat my ass.
Oh my God.
Are you saying that Bill Belichick?
Oh yeah. By the way, Bill Belichick
had the rattlesnake on him?
Yeah, Bill Belichick get the rattlesnake on him. Although he's so old, he might want to borrow some of Bob Kraft's Viagra to use when he got jerked off by the damn the massage parlor therapist down in Florida back in the day.
Hey, hold on. We all know Deshaun Watson referred them to it. First off,
he did. Hey man, listen, you got to get jiggy with it somehow, man. You got to get down with that somehow. So hey, I'm not gonna condone the man for getting his fuck upon. Hey, get it where you can especially when you're Bob Kraft's age.
Right, but I will say, Bill Belichick, that Super Bowl against the Rams, masterclass. I can't deny that. But you benching Malcolm Butler makes me furious.
Speaking of the Rams, Rams at Seahawks. Next game we've got going on here, folks. It's in Washington. Also, another tough place to go.
I'm thinking about DC. My bad. I'm so sorry.
Washington State. It's in Washington State.
We already talked about the one shitty Washington team this week, man. We've reached our protocol.
I was like, it's a thing, you dumbass. Oh my God. I'm so sorry.
I guess I could have said Seattle. We're in Seattle. How about that?
We're talking about the good Washington team.
We're talking.
Oh God.
The Washington team.
The Washington people actually want to be in, not the shitty Beltway Washington. Fuck that place.
But the Rams, I think the Rams are going to be much improved this year from last year. Granted, they can't be worse. I mean, they had the 6th worst team, because I think that's what the Lions were picking, right? 6th, and then we traded out. But I mean, obviously, a lot of that's Matt Stafford and Cooper Kupp being hurt. So they're literally just going to get instantly better just with Matt Stafford and Cooper Kupp coming back. Now, I don't know how much I love Matt Stafford, and I hate to say this, I don't know what level Matt Stafford's going to be, especially after Tommy John. I mean, that takes a lot out of you having Tommy John surgery, but I mean, it's still Matt Stafford. I'm never going to bet against the guy. Love that man. We didn't do shit in Detroit with him, but he was a loyal soldier. And even whenever he separated his shoulder and then threw that touchdown for the Lions last second. I mean, no, he didn't throw a touchdown. He leaped over the goal line last second, wasn't it? Is that what it was? Yeah. I mean, Matt Stafford, man, love that guy. But they're instantly going to get better. I actually think their defense will carry them in this game. I think Geno Smith will struggle in this first game because I think he's going to be under pressure. Aaron Donald's going to get after him. Aaron Donald's had a whole off season to rest and, recover and stuff. Aaron Donald is, I mean, I think people have forgotten how good Aaron Donald is, but he can be the best defensive player in the world whenever he wants to be. But I have the Rams in this one. I think it'll be a close game, but I think the defense gets it done here though for the Rams. Missing Joe again. He keeps just going in the waiting room, man. But
you don't want to talk about this juvenile bush league bullshit Rams right now. Just
Joe's like, man, fuck the Rams.
He's like, fuck Matt Stafford. He's having post-traumatic former Detroit player disorder going on there. Yeah. That's what's going on. So, don't bring up Calvin Johnson or
Barry Sanders.
Barry Sanders, yeah, man. Yeah. But Jamaal, what do you think of this game, man? I liked your insight on the last one, and since Bill Belichick's nasty ass rudely cut you off last time,
I think Seattle was such a pleasant surprise last year. Seeing Geno do what he did, the fact that Pete Carroll, they actually did a system around Geno. I think Geno's gonna have a confident second year as a starter in that system. I think Metcalf and Lockett are an underrated duo wide receiver duo.
Hey, another receiver to look at now actually is Jackson Smith and Jigba out of Ohio State coming in there.
He's with. Oh yeah, that's right.
They drafted Jackson Smith and Jigba. So they have Kenneth Walker III too, Michigan State running back. So
drafted Zach Charbonnet out of UCLA too.
Yeah, he was nice. He was nice last year.
And they still have Rashad Penny too, back up?
No, he went to Philadelphia. They actually they replaced him with Zach Charbonnet of UCLA.
Oh, Zach Charbonnet, yeah. Former Michigan guy too.
Man, why the Eagles just be man? Their GM is so amazing. God, wow.
Yeah, so the Eagles running back room is DeAndre Swift and Rashad Penny. So
yeah, stacked. That's stacked.
Durable, not the most durable guys in the world, but they're talented as hell.
Yeah. They still got Scott.
Yeah.
Mark Scott, is that his name?
Yeah, they still got Scott, the Boston Scott, and they got
they got rid of Miles Sanders though to Carolina.
They got him. They got rid of him, but they got what's his ass? It was Gainwell. They still got him.
Yeah.
Philip Gainwell.
What? Man, they're top 4. Oh my gosh.
But I'll tell you what though, I like Charbonnet. I do like I like
Zach Charbonnet is very good.
I like him. I think that's a good Thunder Lightning backfield for Seattle.
Yeah. I think gotcha. Man, gosh, wow. Man,
and they have Noah Fant too. They got Noah Fant, Metcalf, Lockett, Jackson Smith, and Jigba. I mean that offense is going to be much better actually. Especially if Metcalf and Lockett stay healthy. Jackson Smith and Jigba still needs to recover fully. I don't think he's still 100% because he was hurt a lot at Ohio State. But I think he's probably 100% now coming back. He had a full off season. He didn't play a lot last season for Ohio State. So reason why he didn't go higher in the draft. But
I think this is going to be a pick'em game. I'm going to it's Kupp's back, right?
Yeah, Cooper Kupp's back.
I hope he stays healthy. It's a joy to watch Cooper Kupp. It's an absolute joy to watch him and Matt Stafford it's a beautiful
Two white
fight.
boys going at it, you know.
It's a beautiful. I mean, man, forget color. It's just a beautiful thing to watch because Cooper Kupp had maybe the greatest wide receiver season ever a couple years ago. Like,
Yeah,
possibly.
Cooper Kupp's gonna be back. Yeah, that I think the Rams instantly. I mean, they're instantly back in the mix for maybe winning their division. It's a tough division, but they're instantly in the mix of trying to win it again.
They still have Van Jefferson.
Yes, they have Van Jefferson. Yeah, and Tyler. I think Tyler Higbee is their tight end still.
Yeah. So they can with McVay. I think he gets a little bit of his swagger back. But I think I'm going to go with Seattle on this one. I think it's going to be a close one. I'm going to say this one's probably going to be like 32-29. And shout out to D-Bate, who's on Raw Room Podcast. He's with the Seattle Seahawks. Shout out to him for being a coach on there. Like, it's one of my favorite podcasts. If you've never seen Raw Room, Raw Room is dope. I love them. So I'm giving a shout out to them. I'm showing them some love. Yeah. So.
All right, Joe, what do you think the outcome of this game is going to be?
You know, I recall last year, one of my fantasy football leagues, I had the very last pick in the draft, and I picked Geno Smith, and I got laughed out of the draft room.
Was this my draft?
Yes. As a matter of fact,
I thought you got shit. I remember you got shit. I remember that was ballsy. You said, I know what I'm doing. I know you did know what the fuck you were doing.
And Seattle made a hell of a lot of improvement last year. That said, I've went on record saying that I believe Matt Stafford and Cooper Kupp are the best quarterback wide receiver duo in the league today. However, I don't think it's going to be enough to stop Seattle this week. I've got Seattle going into this one 24-21.
I think there's going to be a lot of defense played in this game, by the way. Even though my scoreline was 35-28. So, but JP, what do you got?
Yeah, bro. I really like what Jamaal said about Cooper Kupp. I've just enjoyed his story so much just because this was an undersized one-star recruit that went to Eastern Washington University. I mean, man, that is just like you see that and you're thinking to yourself, this guy should have never, ever, like in a million years, been the receiver he was in the NFL. But he's like a modern day Steve Largent, right? He's so just incredibly good.
Right.
And I like not to be disrespectful to Stafford, but how many years did that guy carry Detroit on his back? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And like you see what this guy's done, and that was so gratifying to see. No offense to my Bengals fans out there, but it's so gratifying to see this guy finally win a Super Bowl and get his, right? So that's why, like, I just don't know, though. Stafford has played such a physical style for such a long time. I know he's only 34, but when you play that physical of a style, it catches up to you.
Yeah, well, for the longest time, he didn't have he didn't have an offensive line that was worth a shit, and now all of a sudden, the Lions have a really good offensive line. I'm not complaining, by the way, because I'm very glad we do now. But why didn't we have this a few years ago and invested as heavy as we did when we had Matt Stafford?
Great point. That's like, where was this line then? I mean, Matt Stafford's wishing he had the line Jared Goff had.
Yeah, because literally now we have Penei Sewell, Frank Ragnow, Sam Decker. I mean, Christ.
Oh, my God.
That's three Pro Bowlers right there.
Yes, it is. Absolutely. And that's where I'm like so fond of what Detroit's done, and they're building it from the trenches. But even if it's not the sexy pick, I'll tell you what sexy is: having hogs that block your quarterback and keep your running back and quarterback upright. A lot of holes open for the running backs to go through. But I just think Stafford is at the point now where, like, the injuries have started to catch up to him. And, between this and all the talks, and I'm going to make a prediction on the record here. I've heard plenty of talk about this, that this is going to be Sean McVay's last year in the NFL.
I've heard that too. Maybe not in the NFL, but I've seen it's going to be his last year, especially for the Rams.
For the Rams, right? And I think he could go into the broadcast booth for a few years and then get another big head coaching. But don't be surprised if Lincoln Riley moves across town and takes that job.
I could see that. A lot of people have been interested in Lincoln Riley even before he went to USC. So.
Yeah, but I just think there were a lot of distractions. It's going to be another difficult year for the Rams. Now, I will tell you, name to keep an eye on is going to be Cam Akers. Just walk here, and his contract year. I think he's going to want to put up the big stats, and I think they're going to run the football with him a lot because, even though Pop is amazing, he's another one. He suffered some injuries. He's banged up, and I think you're going to see a more spread of the offense this year. But Seattle, though, they've got it all across the board. Metcalf. Jackson Smith-Njigba, who had I mean, this guy was so good. He had Marvin Harrison on the bench at Ohio State. Stop and think about that for a second. Harrison could probably wind up being a number 1 overall pick in next year's draft. He couldn't crack the field with Jackson Smith-Njigba there. I mean, that's something else. We all know how good Lockett is. That two-headed monster at running back with Walker and Zach Charbonneau. It's going to be a tough offense to stop. And Pete Carroll, everybody thought the wheels were going to fall off when Russell got traded. He's a Hall of Fame coach in the NFL, bar none. Bar none. I think Seattle makes the playoffs again this year, and I think they beat the Rams. I think it's going to be 28-17.
Yeah.
Okay. I will agree with you that Pete Carroll is a Hall of Fame coach, but I will also say that he sucks at last-minute decision-making in Super Bowls.
My God.
Just give him the ball. Give him the ball on the one. That still haunts everybody.
Man, I'm so happy. Man, I'm so happy that he threw that
I was at that game in the media box, and, dude, you're not supposed to scream at the top of your lungs. You're not supposed to show bias, but I'm sitting there like – I went outside. I went in the hallway, and I went in the bathroom. I grabbed a roll of paper towels and threw the damn things. I'm like, what the fuck, Pete?
Butler wins you the Super Bowl. You don't play him because you stupid.
Okay. I gotta veer us back away from Bill Belichick. Bill Belichick's about to catch a few more strays here.
Bill Belichick can kiss my ass.
Let's get back on a more happy note. GP, this is your team here. Dolphins at the Chargers. Another game in LA. Two good offenses.
Two very good offenses. Defenses, I think Dolphins have some intriguing. Both teams have some intriguing names to pay attention to. The secondary for the Chargers, they made some steps forward to try to overcome that.
Derwin James is very good, though.
Derwin James is excellent, and I think I know they signed that kid away from the Patriots a couple years ago, right?
Yep.
What the hell's his name? I just brain crap. Anyway, they've improved.
Is it Jenkins? Janoris Jenkins?
No. Anyway, I know that he was with the Patriots. He was a cornerback for them. Jones. No, I'll look it up.
I know who you're talking about.
JC something. Was it JC?
Oh,
you know who I'm talking about, though. That's like
yes, I do know who you're talking about.
But they've tried to improve their secondary, which you got to have a good secondary against in that division with Mahomes. And then there's the Joey Bosa factor. I think Miami, though, offensively, the key to the tape is stopping that two-headed monster at wide receiver with Jalen Waddle and Tyreek Hill. And I still have a lot of question marks about their running game. I still have a lot of question marks about their offensive line. And the big thing that scares me, and I'm saying this as unbiasedly as I possibly can, you don't know what Tua Tagovailoa you're getting from one game to the next, and you don't know if he's healthy. I've seen Tua look like Alabama Tua. I've seen games where Tua looks like he should be playing in the Canadian Football League. I will tell you this: I've seen Tua get aired out games and win, but I don't know if this is the type of game they want to play against this Chargers team. I don't.
If you try and get in a shootout against Justin Herbert, I don't know if that's the best idea.
Exactly. Like, it's one thing to get that against Baltimore, okay? That was Baltimore last year. As much as I like Lamar Jackson, they didn't have the tools and the weapons to keep up outside of Mark Andrews. This Baltimore team for now, Los Angeles does. Los Angeles has the two good wide receivers in Williams and Allen, and then they just picked up Quentin Johnson in the draft. Also got Joshua Palmer, Austin Eckler. So I'm afraid Miami's going to get into a slugfest with them and lose. And I'm going to say this as unbiased as I can. I love my Dolphins. They're my team. I think they try to turn it into an offensive slugfest and they lose. I'm going to say 38-35. LA. I almost call them San Diego. Jesus. LA.
So I think Tua will be back to fully healthy. And I think Tyreek Hill, the biggest issue for the Dolphins traditionally, especially last year, was injuries. Raheem Mostert was hurt. Tua got hurt. Tyreek Hill was out for a while. I think really the only person who stayed fully healthy last year was Jalen Waddle. I don't think he got hurt at all last year, but
I think you're right.
But
he did.
He was healthy. But the biggest issue for the Dolphins has been health. So if they can stay healthy this year, I think the Dolphins could be a team to be reckoned with, especially if Jalen Ramsey comes back and can get back to the field pretty soon. I know he's hurt right now, but if he can get back to the field and be even 80%, he's the best corner in the league at 100%. So I see no reason why their defense won't be better. Their defense still definitely has some question marks for me. But I've got the Dolphins in this one at least, because I don't know if the Chargers are going to be, I don't know See, the good thing for the Chargers, though, is they haven't had all of their receivers healthy at the same time. I think Jamaal said this last time in the last show. If the Chargers have if all their receivers are healthy at the same time for Justin Herbert, they're instantly so much better. So this is going to be an intriguing game just because everybody's going to be healthy from both offenses. So, but I've got the Dolphins in this one, 42-30.
Okay. Jamal's itching to say something here.
I'm gonna piggyback off this. Because this is the reason why I had the whole Cardinals thing last year in fantasy football. Because here's the thing, all I was thinking about was I'm gonna have Kyler Murray, Hollywood Brown, and I'm gonna have DeAndre Hopkins on the same team, playing at the same time. They never were on the same team because Zach Ertz got hurt, then James Conner got hurt. Then Hollywood Brown got hurt. Then DeAndre Hopkins got hurt, and everybody said the Cardinals suck. They were never healthy at the same time. The Chargers are the same way. They might as well wear Los Angeles Clippers uniforms because Keenan Allen and Mike Williams are the Kawhi Leonard and Paul George of the NFL. They are great players, but they are never healthy at the same time. You have healthy. Go ahead.
That's been their biggest problem. And that's really one of the reasons why Eckler's been, I think, so good is because he's kind of had to be in order for them to even have a chance.
So if you have Austin Eckler, then you have a healthy Keenan Allen, you have a healthy Mike Williams, and you have a Josh Palmer, shout out Ball, you know what I'm saying? Because he's all good. But you have Josh Palmer, and then you have who I think will be the MVP of this league this year, Justin. That squad can be dangerous. Even more dangerous than the Chiefs, in my eyes.
That offense is going to be really good for the Chargers. So defense still has a couple questions, but they've got Bosa.
They still got
Derwin
Mac, right?
James.
They got Mac, right? They got Khalil Mack.
Yeah.
Oh, did they pick up Khalil Mack? I did not know that.
Yeah, last year. Yep. Last year, buddy.
I don't think I watched much Chargers football last year then. Jesus.
Do they got Bosa too?
Yeah, they got Bosa, yeah. They got the worst Bosa brother. They got Joey.
Actually, the Dolphins got the shittiest of the three because his old man was a bomb. But Joey's good, though. Joey's no joke.
Yeah. I think the Chargers have this one, and I think this one is going to be fun. It's going to be the anti-Arizona Washington. This is going to be what was the last year's score for the Ravens Dolphins? What was it, 42-38? Something around there?
Yeah.
42-38. Yeah, let's do that. 42-38 Chargers. But yeah, if Mike Williams and Keenan Allen stay together, oh my God. That
Yep. I think the Chargers will be good.
Go ahead, sorry, bro.
I think the Chargers will be all right this year. They play in a tough conference though, or they play in a tough division. But it's not an unwinnable division, but it's a hard division though. But I still pick the Dolphins. I think their offense is going to shine through better. I think they have more experience together. I like Tua. I think they'll be fine. These next few picks we're gonna try and get through. So JP, what do you got this Dolphins Chargers game?
Hey, my heart says Dolphins. My brain says Chargers. I'm going to ride with my brain, but I hope I'm wrong. I'm going to say Chargers 38-35.
All right, Joe, what we got here for Dolphins Chargers?
I think when healthy, that Chargers offense can compete with any defense in the league, bar none. That being said, I've got the Chargers this week 38-31.
Okay, this next game we're gonna push through. This one's an interesting one, not that interesting, but the last two are going to be the two more interesting ones. So we're just going to push through. Next one's Packers at the Bears. The Bears are awful. They're getting better. I'll give it to them. They're getting better. They still suck ass. Packers aren't much better. Underrated defense, though. The Packers. I have the Packers winning this one. Just because the Packers defense is better. I got 27-21. It might not be that high scoring of a game. I don't know. Caleb Love, though, he might be Jordan Love, not Caleb Love. Jordan Love. I think he'll be all right. But what do you guys think? Who do you think wins this game?
21-14 Bears.
Okay. What do you got, JP?
Bears running game goes insane, and then they had a good pickup with DJ Moore. I think Justin Fields takes a step forward. I'm going to go 24-14 Bears.
The Bears. Bet you, Jamal.
31-21. Bears.
Bears. Okay.
This is what my head says, but my heart says the fans aren't winning this one.
Yeah.
I think Claypool and Moore are going to be nice.
Yeah, I think they definitely have a better wide receivers than they did. I think they got Allen Robinson too still. So Sunday Night Football, Cowboys at the Giants. I think this is gonna be a good game. I think there's a reason why it's Sunday Night Football. It's gonna be a close one. Two dog shit franchises, whatever. The Giants have the best player on the field, though, so I'm giving it to the Giants. I'm giving it to them. They got Saquon Barkley. It's going to be a close game. I got Giants 31-28. They win on a late field goal.
Danny Dimes versus Dak Prescott.
Battle of the mid QBs, baby.
Yeah, buddy. I guess it's the shit QBs. It's the mid QBs. I don't know. It's like, I will say I like Brian Daboll better as a coach. I think what he did with the Giants last year was exceptional. I like Dallas's offense a little more, even without Zeke, although I like Tony Pollard a lot. I don't know. Cowboys win a squeaker 21-17.
Hey, Joe, what do you got?
I've got New York winning this one 24-21.
Yeah, this one's going to be an air biter. I think we've all had a close game so far. What about Jamal? What do you got?
I have Giant 30-27. Watch out for Jalen Hyatt and the impact.
That boy Jalen Hyatt. Yeah.
Fucking love Hyatt, dude. Big fan of Hyatt.
On to the Monday Night Football game. Oh, by the way, how long do you guys think Dak has before Trey Lance takes over?
As long as he wants, because I think Trey Lance sucks.
As long as, but if Dak leads the league in interceptions again, you think they try and go Trey Lance next year?
Yeah. Well, leading the league in interceptions ain't what it used to be. Usually when you led the league in interceptions back then, it was like 20-something. You only had, 15?
I mean, double digits in general is bad, but
it's not like what it used to be. Like, didn't James Winston have like 30 interceptions not too long ago?
Yeah, 1,000%.
To be fair, you can't really put as much pressure on the quarterback anymore because of all the rules they've put in place for the quarterback's safety.
Yeah, Eli Manning, he led the league in interceptions like I think 3 times and still got 2 Super Bowls.
That's true. What about that one year that Jameis Winston threw fucking 5,000 yards and he threw like 35 touchdowns?
Yeah, the same year. That's the same year. Yeah, same year.
Yeah, but I don't know. I just don't see it with Dak. But I don't think Trey Lance is much better. Granted, I don't see it with Dak though. I don't think he's.
If Dak ran the ball more pre-ankle injury, ever since that ankle injury, he doesn't run the ball as much. He's not like a dual threat anymore. So literally, they're just playing him to pass. If he runs the ball more, I think they'd be better.
I think Dak's mid as shit. I think that in your scenario, if Dak throws more interceptions than touchdowns, if he has another shitty year with interceptions, I think you're seeing Dallas do a full house cleaning. And I think they're taking one of the quarterbacks in next year's draft. And I think next year's draft is going to be loaded with QBs.
Yes, next year's draft is crazy with QBs. We're going to talk about them here after the NFL. We got a few mentions in there, but there is a lot of good quarterbacks coming out next season. Joe, what do you think is going to happen we're going to the next one. We're going to the next one. Monday Night Football. Bills at the Jets. Last NFL game here.
I can't wait to hear Joe's pick. I can't wait.
I two very good teams on paper, but I've got the Bills winning this one. I think it's going to be high scoring. I got Bills 34-28. Joe, I'm going to swing it over to you. Who you got?
Bills 35-7.
I like it. I like it.
Why? Because, okay, do you want my personal opinion or my professional opinion?
Both.
Personal first.
I want both.
Personal, I think Aaron Rodgers is the Satan of the NFL. Professional opinion, as I said last week, since Rodgers has said he wants another MVP award, not a Super Bowl award, that tells me that he and Dalvin Cook are very likely to clash. And I think I don't know
how I like that combo, but
that I think is going to lead to a very counterproductive offense.
Amen.
And there's no way this next week they're going to be able to keep up with Buffalo's that they're going to get anything past Buffalo. I think this is going to be a very rude welcome for Aaron.
Okay, JP, who do you have?
I can't follow that shit up. Shit, that's like following the Beatles, man. Got my. No, but honestly, though, he's right, dude. Think about this, okay? Aaron Rodgers' son's side, shit, I know he was throwing to Pee Wee Herman, Jack Mehoff, and George W. Bush, last year in Green Bay. Although I do like that Watson kid. But look, man, the AFC East is a different animal. And the Buffalo Bills are a different bird of its own right. I think him and Dalvin Cook are going to clash. Okay. And I don't think this New York offense has a damn clue what it's doing half the time. You had a damn good receiver in Elijah Moore that you benched after you and ran out of town. Okay. I like this Garrett Wilson, but we don't know what he's going to be. I mean, they're calling him Lynn Swan. He could wind up looking like Lynn, my next door neighbor that used to give me a blowjob back in high school. I mean, we don't know what it's going to turn out to be. And then you got Breece Hall, who looked like a stud last year. You bring in Mr. Durability, Dalvin Cook. I mean, this team doesn't have an identity, and you're going against the wrong team if you don't have an identity. I'll tell you, Allen will smash them in the mouth. I think James Cook is going to have a breakout year. I think the other Cook brother in this game is who you need to pay attention to this year.
Yes.
And I think they're going to ragdoll the freaking. I think the Bills are going to ragdoll them. I think it's going to be one of the bigger blowouts of the week. And I know I said 48-3 with my tongue in cheek about New England getting blasted, but I wouldn't be surprised if Buffalo puts the pants on the Jets. I think it's going to be like 38-17.
All right, Jamal, last one right here. Who you got winning this game, Jamal?
Hold on, where's it at?
It's at New York. It's at MetLife.
Oh, so it's in hell.
Yeah,
it is a shitty stadium. It is a shit stadium.
It was a nice stadium. I was went there as a Dolphin fan, and the fans were nice to me. So that's because
the stadium itself, though, is so shit.
That's what I mean. That's what I mean. The stadium itself.
There is a statistic out there that you're 80% more likely to hurt yourself at MetLife Arena than any other arena in the NFL. I saw that. It was crazy.
That's why Aaron Rodgers belongs there, because he, just like that stadium, sucked 29 inches of donkey penis.
Okay, Jamal. You got to start talking, buddy, before Joe just keeps going, bro.
Is that where? That's because Jimmy Hoffa's ghost comes up and clips your fucking kneecap before every game.
Damn, dude, we Nancy Kerrigan? What the fuck? All right, but let me see.
Okay, Jamal. It's in New York.
Fuck New York. Are those rumors about Stephon Diggs wanting out of Buffalo true?
Yes, 100%. Yep, they're true.
But I think Stephon Diggs is the type, though, if he's on the team, he's going to give it his all. You know what I mean?
Yeah, he's not gonna fuck around. Yeah, he's not gonna fuck around and say hello. He'll give it his all to prove.
And that's another underrated duo. Him and
Josh Allen and Stephon Diggs. That might be the best wide receiver quarterback duo in the league. So, I know we said Cooper Kupp and Matt Stafford, but Josh Allen and Stephon Diggs might be it. Yeah. Maybe Pat Mahomes and Kelsey, but
part of me just wants to pick the Jets so to make Joe mad. Part of me wants to just do that, just to do that. But I really think the Bills are too strong, and I think the Jets need to gel a little bit more before they really kick in. But I think it'll be tighter than what people think. I will say 31-20.
31-20.
That only gel is going to be gangrene.
Okay. That wraps up all of our NFL predictions here. After the break, we're going to still be talking about football, but we're going to be going to the amateur side of things. Go to college football, week 1 this weekend. A couple games have already happened.
Talking about Aaron Rodgers.
Okay. Isn't chlamydia green too?
Okay. USC Notre Dame played last week. This week we got every other team playing this weekend. We'll talk to you more about it after this little break. It won't be a break for you guys. It'll be a break for us. Okay, we are back for a 5th and final session, hopefully, of the Sports 101 podcast. If we keep rambling, it's just going to be another one. But
now, I would like to apologize for my outburst last session.
What's your name is Aaron Rodgers. Bread. Yeah, that's totally believable.
They didn't have to hear that, but no. In all seriousness, I do think Aaron Rodgers will go down in Jets history as one of their more well-known quarterbacks. He'll be mentioned in the same breath as Mark Sanchez. Unfortunately, just like Sanchez, it'll be for the wrong reasons.
The butt fumble, yeah. Okay.
Oh, Mark Sanchez took him to 2 AFC championship games.
That's true. He'll go down in the same breath as Zach Wilson, who squandered his career away by, instead of studying the playbook, he was studying the inside of his coach's mother's underwear drawer, and yeah.
The panty
Man,
raid.
hold on. First off, that's crazy. The fact that like everybody remembers Mark Sanchez for the bum fumble. He's beaten Tom Brady and Peyton Manning in playoffs as a Jet.
Mark Sanchez wasn't bad, and I say this as a Jet hater.
Yeah, I mean, Mark Sanchez, he was all right. He's one of the best. Hey, I'll give it to him. One of the best college football players ever. Okay,
I mean, he's no Sam Darnold, but I mean,
college football, he was that guy. But speaking of college football, we have an absolutely loaded slate of college football games this weekend. I know we all support different teams. Well, me and Joe support the same team, but we have different teams that we like. But all of our franchises have been good at one point in time or the other. Some are good now. Some have actually really all of our teams are pretty good now. So right now, but what I'm asking now, question is for me: who at the end of the year is going to be in the college football playoff? 4 teams. I'll give you mine. Give you some reference. Okay, first is the easiest thing I've said all show. It's the Georgia Bulldogs. It's got to be. I mean, they're the best team in college football. They have been the last 2 years. I see no reason why they slow down now. They've lost a lot of people, but they have recruited best recruiting class in the nation again this year, and I see no reason why they slow down here. I got Georgia first. The only team that can make it hard on them, Jamaal, you're going to like this. Georgia has 2 tough games all season. One game, they go play at Rocky Top. Mm-hmm. They go play in Tennessee. That one's going to be tough. Unfortunately, I think Georgia can handle that game, though. Mm-hmm. But we did see how Alabama handled it, though, last year. Alabama went in there, got they didn't get kicked around because it was a close game, but they ended up losing. That's what matters. So Alabama lost in Tennessee. So I'll give them the benefit of the doubt, but I still think Georgia takes care of business there in Tennessee. Mm-hmm. And they play Florida early on. Mm-hmm. They're supposed to play Oklahoma, so they have a really shitty schedule, and it's not their fault. They're supposed to play Oklahoma out of conference, but since Oklahoma is going to the SEC next year, that game got canceled because the home and home wouldn't have mattered because it would have conflicted with the schedules and stuff like that. So they didn't end up doing it. So they wouldn't have been so bad. The schedule wouldn't have been so bad if they had Oklahoma. But number 2 is where things start getting a little juicy, especially for me and Joe. I got Michigan, number 2, in the college football playoff. This team is absolutely loaded. They're returning 90% of their team from last year. We lost a couple defensive guys, lost our tight end Schoonmaker, but I tell you what, we lost Schoonmaker, but we have somebody who is even better than Luke Schoonmaker, who went to the Cowboys. We have that boy Colston Loveland. That is a name to watch out for here in the future. He is a sophomore, true sophomore. He is going to be trouble for anybody who he plays. He is a wide receiver in his tight end's body, I tell you. He is insane. He makes the craziest catches as a tight end you've ever seen. And Michigan's going to be good. Their defense is going to be solid again this year. Jim Harbaugh, I know we got the 3-game suspension. We're going to be okay because those 3 games are just our out-of-conference games. So we're going to be fine.
Donald, you're absolutely right. I'm a Michigan fan, and my heart says, yeah, I'd love to see Michigan in the national championship. Unfortunately, my head says otherwise. Number 1, I do agree with you, will be Georgia. Number 2, and I don't say this with any bitterness. Let me preface this by saying I'm not bitter when I say this. This is my professional opinion here. Yes, Michigan may have 90% of their team coming back, but the selection committee has 100% of them coming back. And based on the justification that they put Alabama in last year, I have a hard time not believing that they don't want to see an all-SEC final. So I'm saying number 1 will be Georgia. Number 2 will be Alabama.
So the biggest issue is with me, if Michigan is undefeated and they win the Big Ten, I see no reality where they're not number 2. Now, I can see them putting Alabama in, especially if Alabama is the SEC West champion, and then they lose to Georgia in the SEC championship. I can see, I believe they would put Alabama in. I think that's who it would be.
We said the same thing last year, and look what happened.
If Alabama either goes 1 loss or undefeated, and then they go into the SEC championship game against Georgia and lose, there I see no way they leave Alabama out. My third seed was whoever is the Pac-12 champ, because the Pac-12 is very strong this year. I believe the Pac-12 champion will be either USC or Washington, probably. But there's 5 very solid teams at the top end of the Pac-12 this year.
I do have
loaded.
USC. I have USC penciled in winning the Pac-12.
But I have USC or Washington winning the Pac-12. That's who I believe will get the third seed. And then the fourth seed, I believe, will be either, there's one of 2 options here. It'll either be the ACC champion or, actually, there's one of 3 options here. It'll either be the ACC champion because Clemson and Florida State are both very good this year, especially if Florida State beats LSU. LSU, they play LSU on Saturday. So it's LSU, Florida State, week 1. That is a huge game, especially come the end of the year, which is kind of unfair on them, but it already has college football playoff implications week 1, LSU, Florida State.
I completely agree, and I'll go so far as to say that the winner of that game will probably be your 4 seed.
Yep. So whoever and LSU, don't sleep on LSU because LSU is going to give Alabama a run for their money in the SEC West this year. So I don't think the SEC West is as cut and dry this year as it's been in the past with Alabama. LSU is going to make them work for it. Especially when Texas and Oklahoma come over, they're going to make them work for it. Granted, I don't think they're going to be divisions anymore when that happens, but I mean, imagine when the SEC doesn't have divisions. It's just going to be hell. So I either have the ACC champion, who I think it would be Clemson or Florida State. If they have 1 loss, or less, I think it'll be the ACC champion. If they have 1 loss or more, then it'll either be, like last year they put in Ohio State, it'll either be the loser of the game. So it'll either be the loser of Michigan, Ohio State, maybe 4, or it'll be the loser of Alabama, Georgia, or if it's Alabama, Georgia, the SEC loser in the championship game, number 4. So those are the 3 options I got for the 4th slide, either the ACC champ or the 1 loss in the championship game team. So who you guys got? Joe, you might as well finish yours, Joe. You already had the first 2, I think, right?
3 and 4, I didn't even bother going with that right now, to be perfectly honest with you. I'll have to get back to you on that one.
All right, Jay, I think you probably already have an opinion on this. So.
Oh, hell yeah. All right, I got this itemized down. My playoffs, I got the Rose Bowl, Ohio State or Michigan, whoever wins that is the number 1 seed versus Alabama. I think Alabama gets the 4 seed. I think they lose to Georgia, but I think they still get in. I think their quality of record, they won't keep Alabama twice in a row, 2 years in a row. And I also think this or next year is going to be Nick Saban's last year. I think he's going to call them quits. So I want to get them in there as much as they can. And Sugar Bowl, I got Georgia versus my spoiler team, and that's Oregon, who will have the Heisman Trophy winner, Bo Nix. So I got Oregon winning the Pac-12. Based off of Bo Nix, and you got the matchup with Bo Nix, the Heisman winner, former SEC player, and Dan Lanning, who was actually on Georgia's staff against the Bulldogs, defending back-to-back champs, trying to go 3-peat. Which, by the way, something that pisses me off. Factoid: Nick Saban, Dan Quinn, and Kirby Smart were all on that 2006 Dolphins staff, and they still won 7-8 games. Yeah, fuck my life. Anyway, go ahead.
All right, Jamaal, who you got in the 4-team college football playoff?
Well, I mean, the audience haven't figured out. Yes, I am a Tennessee Volunteer fan. And yes, I know the big question mark is Joe Milton after Hendon Hooker. That's what they said about T. Martin after Peyton Manning. And T. Martin ended up winning the championship, but I don't know if that's going to happen this year because we got to go at Florida. We play against South Carolina, who beat us, I think, about 25 last year. And then we got to play pissed off Alabama team at Alabama. I think we also got Texas A&M. I think we got. I mean,
you guys have a tricky out of conference game. I can't remember who it is. Actually, Texas A&M is in the SEC, aren't they? So
I think,
but it's in the other division though.
Like UTSA because they're like almost like 25th or something like that. Like it's a. I mean, we got Virginia Saturday, but it's like I mean, we don't have a cupcake schedule, and then now instead of being hunters, we're the hunted. Because they think we're just one trick pony, but I think Georgia's so strong that they're just so strong. I'm gonna have them at a number 1. I think LSU takes over the SEC West. I think Jaden Daniels. I don't think he gets enough pub.
Jaden Daniels is very good.
he is nice. I don't even know how Tennessee beat them 40-14 last year. I don't know, but like LSU came on strong at the end. And not to mention, in South Carolina, Spencer Rattler, that's another name, Oklahoma transfer. He's nice. So like, but I got I think I got LSU, Georgia. Man.
You need a Big Ten team in there somewhere. There's going to be a Big Ten team.
Well, I didn't know that. I didn't know that.
Well, there doesn't have to be a Big Ten team, but there's going to be. Whoever wins the Big Ten will be in the college football playoff 1,000%.
This is a crazy thing because like I think the Big Ten, like, aren't they more top heavy than the SEC?
Oh yeah. Between Michigan,
like,
Ohio State, and Penn State, yes.
Because Penn State's only losses were Ohio State and Michigan.
Yes, and
Wisconsin,
Penn State's even better.
I've won a few motherfuckers this year though. Wisconsin.
Yeah, I watch out for Iowa too. Iowa's going to be really good.
Yeah, but because like I've been thinking about Penn State because I think their only two losses last year were.
Yep, it was just Michigan, Ohio State. Yep, and
that was
one of those was on the road. So they lost at Ohio State and lost at home against Michigan. So no, it's the other way around. They lost at Michigan because we're at Penn State this year. So they lost at Michigan and they lost at home against Ohio State. So.
And I know how hungry Penn State is, especially like trying to get rid of the whole Joe Paterno stuff in their mouth. You know what I mean? Like, no pun intended. But
I really like James Franklin. Their coach is really good.
Yeah, former Vanderbilt coach and everything. And like, man, you see that whiteout. Oh my God, it gives me goosebumps.
They're going to be loud. I'm really nervous. Michigan plays at Penn State this year. I'm really nervous for that game because especially for teams like Michigan and Ohio State, they turn the hell up, bro. They turn up.
Okay, it looks like Penn State plays Ohio State at Ohio State.
Yeah, so they play at Ohio State and at home against Michigan. So
does Ohio State play at Michigan?
Yes, Ohio State's at Michigan this year, yeah.
I could see all of them being like a little triangle and being 1-1 against each other.
Oh, that's what happened a few years ago in the SEC West.
And I'm going to say if it's going to end up like that, because Ohio State and Michigan played the last game of the year, right?
Yes.
So I'm going to have to give the nod to Michigan then. Because usually they always give like the winner of the biggest game at the last. They usually give them like the bigger push, the biggest push.
Really what it's going to be is whoever wins the game probably, because at most going into that game, they're going to, each team's either going to have 0 or 1 loss. So realistically, whoever wins that game is going to either have 0 or 1 losses. So there's no way that they don't get in. And if they get through to the Big Ten championship, I don't see any team in the West beating them. Like Iowa and Wisconsin and Nebraska could give them maybe some issues, but I don't see them beating Michigan or Ohio State or even Penn State. Penn State's really good. They got Chop Robinson. Their running back duo is really good. Their receivers are good.
I'm gonna go ahead and give it to Michigan, even though I know Ohio State gave Georgia their biggest challenge, because I know good and damn well Tennessee didn't. I think Tennessee is like right outside the Final Four.
I think the thing with Ohio State is that they're easier to defend than Michigan is, because Michigan is just going to assert their dominance, and there's not much you can do about it.
They also got a sneaky Heisman candidate in J.J. McCarthy.
J.J. McCarthy and Blake Corum too, yeah.
I think Florida State and Clemson are going to cancel each other out. I think they're going to each have 1 loss apiece, but I don't think their 1 loss is going to be better than a 1-loss SEC team. So I'm going to give the other one to USC because I really think that everybody wants to see Caleb Williams in the playoffs.
Yeah.
And he has a freshman. I'm not lying when I say this. The way he was running, it kind of looked like a player they had who wore number 5.
Yep. Yep.
And but he's smaller, but I'm talking about every much as elusive. And I'm talking about like burst quickness.
Yeah, that kid is crazy. He's really good.
Like
as a true freshman, that kid is crazy.
You know who I'm talking about. Yeah.
I thought you already said his name. Yeah.
Oh my god. And I think Lincoln Riley has really got something brewing in USC. He's bringing that Pete Carroll swag back to USC. You can see it. So I'm gonna go. Yeah, I'm gonna say Georgia, LSU. Not in particular order. Georgia, LSU, USC, and Michigan.
I like it.
Question I want to throw at you here is, and I said the same thing with Oregon, are they going to want the Pac-12 represented in the playoffs? And I say this as somebody who fully picked Oregon to make the playoffs.
We're
talking about a dead conference here, a conference that's
now
done.
Is this Pac-12? If the Pac-12 champion is undefeated and they win the Pac-12, they have to get in for sure, I think.
That's true.
But with one loss, it really opens them up. So that is the biggest issue. And the biggest issue is they all play each other because there's no conferences anymore in Pac-12. So they all play each other and they all have tough as hell schedules. I think USC in November plays at Washington, at Utah, at home against Oregon, and then I think it's at home against UCLA. That 4-game stretch is hell.
Oh, I believe I misunderstood you earlier when I said I didn't know about 3 and 4. I thought we were talking about rankings. I apologize. I still stand by my number 1 and number 2 being Georgia and Alabama. Number 3, Michigan. Number 4, USC.
There you go. Good stuff.
Yeah.
Hey, hold on. Oh, here we go. I'm looking up the schedule right now for USC. They're at Notre Dame.
That's a
tough game.
The next game, they're home against Utah.
That's no walking.
Okay, that's home at Utah. Utah sucks though. They're good.
Then a couple of weeks after that, they got Washington at home.
And Michael Penix is a fucking real deal. That's tough.
And they're on the road at Oregon the week after.
Oof, Eugene.
See, they could walk at it at 2 and 2, and it wouldn't surprise me.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, their defense has too many questions for me though. Their offense, I already know, is going to be insane with Zachariah Branch. That's his name, by the way.
Zachariah Branch. Okay, all right.
Yeah.
Was that a 5 games you said or 4? Was that the first 4 games or 5? Is that 4?
That was just a 4-game stretch in November.
They could walk at it at 4 and 4, 2 and 2, and it wouldn't surprise me one bit.
Yeah.
There's a couple other teams there later on in their schedule. What else do they got from there?
Well, the other people. I was just about to ask you this. But before that, what are you looking forward to this college football season? What's the one thing that you look forward to the most?
You know what I'm looking forward to? Because there's a team that nobody's talking about in the Pac-12 that I think is criminally under fucking rated. That has a quarterback with a major chip on his shoulder, that has a major chip on their shoulder themselves, and that's Oregon State.
Yeah,
DJ Uiagalelei.
Because you got DJ who's coming in there, DJ Uiagalelei, who's got a major chip on his shoulder. You've got an Oregon State program who is being, conference expansion is being like every team in the Pac-12 is being danced with except for Oregon State and Washington State. Okay. Oregon State won in last year, won 10 games. They've got a great coach in Jonathan Smith. People don't talk about how good he is. This guy is just made chicken salad out of chicken shit. Okay. They went out there, and I understand it's Sunbelt Billy, but they went in there and they beat the dog shit out of Florida in their bowl game last year. I don't know if you guys saw. They beat the dog shit out of Florida.
Yeah.
I mean, this is a real deal team that could be a real. It would not surprise me if they're this year's TCU. Okay, and I'm very vocal about that. That they're this year's TCU takes up all people. That's what I'm looking forward to seeing is Oregon State like shocking everybody, and you're not going to put us in a conference. Fuck you. We'll make our own waves. That's what I'm.
Yeah, I was big on Oregon State. As soon as I saw they got DJ Uiagalelei, I was like, oh my god, that team's gonna be nice. Because I think it was more of a system thing for DJ anyway than I think it was more Clemson anything than him being back. Because you saw in burst that DJ Uiagalelei could be very good. That's just a fun name to say, by the way. Very fun name to say.
Plus, it was the pressure. Think about it. You got the pressure of coming in there and replacing fucking you got the Deshaun Watson in the rearview mirror, and then you got to replace Trevor Lawrence. I mean, who may have been the greatest fucking, most heralded player to come out of college since Andrew. I mean, that's not easy. And no matter what the poor fucking kid did, it wasn't going to be enough.
Mm-hmm. So I have some questions for you guys too. Who do you think is going to be the 4 Heisman candidates in New York at the end of the year? I've got to tell you mine. I put down 6, but I'm going to give you 4. Well, I'm going to tell you who the 6 are, but a couple of them are grouped together. One is Blake Corum or JJ McCarthy. So if Michigan comes out and it's just this run dominant team, I think it'll be Blake Corum. If they come out and JJ McCarthy is as good as he can be, because JJ McCarthy is really good, as he should be, by the way. It could be JJ McCarthy. I can see them. JJ McCarthy's got the swag for it. He's got the personality for it. He just signed an NIL deal with Beats. So he's got the repertoire for it. He's got the swag for it. Obviously, Caleb Williams. I mean, Caleb Williams is insane. I can see this narrative trying to give it to him for back-to-back years. I can see that happening in front of me. Drake May, North Carolina. By the way, shooting at North Carolina today, real tough. It was.
Yeah, one of the professors, sad. Right? One of the professors, right?
Yep.
So, hold on, one of the professors got hurt, or
they got killed? Yeah, they got shot to death.
Oh man.
Yep. So there's a shooting at UNC today. So they didn't have practice today. Nothing happened like that today. So, but Drake May is going to be very good. He's like Josh Allen light. He's going to be very good. And then I got Marvin Harrison Jr. I mean,
yeah.
He's the best player in college football. I see them piggybacking off of that. If Ohio State goes far, it's going to be because of him. But another person I put up there as a sleeper to watch for, Michael Penix Jr., Washington. Also, if LSU has a good year, Jaden Daniels, man. Jaden Daniels is really good. Or if Florida State goes really far, Jordan Travis as well. Jordan Travis is really good, their quarterback. But yeah, those are my picks.
I like Jordan Travis, or I like Jordan Travis. I like Daniels. Florida. I think ASU made a big mistake letting him get away. I like McCarthy or Corum. I like both of them.
And like I said, I think it depends on how the offense looks, is who it's going to be. But
that's true. I mean, Harrison. I'll say my first one. Harrison. I think he's it. Williams is it. Maybe this is wishful thinking. I think finally this is a year Steve Sarkisian proves he's worth what Texas believed in. I think Quinn Ewers takes a huge step forward. I think he's a Heisman finalist. And trying not to go quarterback heavy here. I'd say Harrison.
I mean, there's Michael Penix, Drake May.
Who's Georgia's quarterback? I like May. Who's Georgia's quarterback this year?
One sec.
There's been a lot of buzz around him too. One
sec, I got you. Yeah, I had his name on the tip of my tongue earlier too.
I know. I like Clay. I know. I like Cade. I know. I like Cade Klubenik of Clem.
Klubnik, yeah.
And I like
Carson Beck.
Beck. I like him.
Carson Beck.
Could be a sneaky one too.
I didn't go in depth as you guys did. I just narrowed down who my only two would be, and that would be Carson Beck and JJ McCarthy.
I like those picks. I'm not going to be, and I think they're going to value winning as well, the committee. So, and I think those are going to be the two best teams in college football. So if they value winning, if they value winning, it'll be Carson Beck, one of the Michigan guys, either JJ or Blake Corum. Don't sleep on Donovan Edwards either. Donovan Edwards is insane, but
that's true.
But I think they give it to Blake Corum instead of Edwards. But
again, it comes down to what the selection committee is looking for, and let's be frank, gentlemen, we never know what they're looking for year to year.
Yeah. Well, that's why I went with Caleb Williams, just because. Well, I mean, Caleb Williams is one of the best players in college football. I'm not going to say he's bad. He's very good. He should be the first overall pick or second overall pick in the draft if they're smart. If the team needs a quarterback at number one, which I'm sure they do, you can take Caleb Williams. Like, it's not hard. But
it's me to a question when we're done with this. Remind me when we're done.
Yeah, we got 8 minutes left in the show, by the way, boys. So we'll get this done. Jamaal, who you think some players to look out for this season?
A player or school?
I ain't go in depth either. Like, don't get me wrong. I think wishful thinking. I wish Joe Milton. I think Joe Milton. I don't think they're gonna think Tennessee's gonna drop off so much because they're in a hooker. That like anything good, Joe Milton.
No, Joe Milton is really good, especially even going back to his Michigan days. He has an absolute cannon on him. Yeah, and he is more mobile than you think, and he's huge. He's big as hell.
Yeah. And he's thrown no interceptions since he's been in Tennessee.
Yeah,
none. But
he takes care of the ball for sure.
I really think there's somebody who's in. Now I know it's Big Ten versus SEC bias or anything like that, but everybody's going to say SEC is tougher, and I will say this: the SEC West is really tough, and I say Jaden Daniels is the best player in the SEC West, and I think if he's in the playoffs, I don't think there's any doubt he's not the Heisman winner.
If LSU make the playoffs, it's definitely because of Jaden Daniels for sure. So I see that.
Jane, like him and Coach Kelly, they clicked at the end, and literally, I'm just so glad that we played them early because when they were firing on all cylinders.
Yeah, they looked good last year. Towards the end of last year, they looked
good. Straight up electric. By the way, we were talking about the Pac-12. I was just going to say this right now. I'm looking forward to seeing Coach Prime.
Yeah, Colorado. I think they're going to be good, yeah.
I don't think they're going to be good, per se.
Well, I don't think they'll be good, but they're going to be much improved, but that's not saying much. But
I think the pieces are going to be in place. I think Prime's going to put the pieces in place for improvement, and that's I think, he blew it. I think this is like a blow. He tanked this year. I think it's a tank job. Because I think Colorado's going to give him years to build this because it's a mess. Colorado's one of the tougher jobs.
Yeah.
And I think it's, he blew it up and it's going to be a disaster this year. But I think the pieces are going to be in place for growth.
Yeah. So what we got the rest of this, or 7 minutes or 6 minutes or whatever.
Okay. Here's my question for you guys. Go ahead real quick. My question real quick, is if Arizona gets the number 1 overall pick and they're that bad, do they take Caleb Williams?
Well, I think it depends upon what the state of Kyler Murray is. If Kyler Murray doesn't come back the whole season, which I don't think he is he?
No.
Yeah, he should. Well,
how many years does Kyler Murray have left on his contract?
He's just signed up
because he really re-signed and everybody. He re-signed recently because everybody was talking about playing video games.
I don't think they. I think they would take Marvin Harrison. Because at that point, I don't think Kyler Murray would be the problem. I think it would be not giving him enough weapons around him, and Marvin Harrison's like the ultimate weapon. So
him and Hollywood Brown. Oh.
I think they would take Marvin Harrison if they got the number 1 pick and just keep Kyler Murray, which honestly might be for the best.
Yeah, him and Hollywood Brown. Oh my God!
But Caleb Williams is good. I think he's probably better than Kyler Murray, but I think in the long run, I think it's better to take Marvin Harrison because I think Marvin Harrison, in terms of generational talents, I think Marvin Harrison's one of the ones. I think Caleb Williams might be too, but Marvin Harrison is a generational, good receiver. His dad was very good, but he might be better than his dad was.
Was just scary.
Yeah.
You have less risk with Marvin Harrison Jr.
Exactly.
Yep.
Well, my thing is, I'm Arizona and I get to pick. Some team's going to want a quarterback.
Yeah.
Right. Some team is going to want the quarterback. And if I'm Arizona, I'm looking at what the Bears did, honestly, backing up the damn bus.
Yeah. Whoever gets the first or second pick will not regret it for sure. Because you're not going to go wrong. I believe the first 2 picks in the draft should be. This is what they should be. I don't know if this is what they will be. This is what they should be. They should be, in no particular order, Caleb Williams and Marvin Harrison Jr. That's who it should be. But I don't know if that's who it's going to be. But, So I had a couple questions for you guys towards the end of this last 3 minutes here, especially here for JP. You think Texas? What do you think Texas is doing this year? Because I think Texas is going to be all right. I don't think they might win the Big 12. Who knows? They might win the Big 12. But Sarkisian has not shown it yet. I think they could, but Texas could for sure.
This somebody who's never been nuts on Sark. Go ahead. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
But I was just wanting to see what you thought about Texas. I had a few more things I want to say. A couple teams to look out for college football this year. Iowa Hawkeyes. They're going to be better than you think. I'm not going to guarantee it, but I would be very shocked if they're not the SEC West participant. Their defense is legit. It always is. They had the number 1 defense in the country last year. I know they lost Jack Campbell. I know they lost a couple other people. It doesn't matter. They replace them with players who are just as good. That defense is going to be gross, and their offense was the worst offense, and they had literally the best offense. They had the best defense, worst offense in the country. Which you have to be trying to do that. I swear. I don't know how you do that, but They got Cade McNamara, transfer out of Michigan, quarterback. Very good. And they got another transfer out of Michigan, Eric All, their tight end. So instantly they have a better tight end who's a number one tight end on literally any team, basically. And Cade McNamara, who's a top 20 quarterback in the country. So, Nebraska, new coach, Matt Rule. Matt Rule's a good coach. And then we've been talking about them, so maybe they're not a sleeper team, but I put LSU as well. Maybe Florida State too, but both those teams to look out for. They're going to be good. You guys have any other teams to look out for? You said Oregon State already. Oregon State's going to be good.
UT San Antonio.
UT San Antonio?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, if Tennessee plays them. Yes.
So if UT San Antonio, if they beat the problem was with UT San Antonio, especially since they play Tennessee, if they lose, if they have a loss, they are not going to the playoff or even a good bowl game. Well, I don't think they're not going to the bowl game. They're not even going to the playoff if they go undefeated. But
I mean, if hypothetically they beat Tennessee, they're not going to go to, but they will be the Group of 5 team. They'll be
the best Group of 5 team. Yeah,
they will be the one that's Fiesta Bowl or the Orange Bowl or whatever the bowl. They'll be that team that's playing like there, and they beat Tennessee, they're going unbeaten. There's just no way around it.
Yeah, but that about does it from us this week. It's nice having you guys. Good show. And we will see you guys back here next week.
Yeah, man.